Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley, and I am still hanging out with my friends Carter Glasscock, Sam Harder, and our very special guest from This Is Rad, Kyle Clark. This is part 2 of our 1997 spectacular. Hope y'all enjoyed part 1. If you've not heard part 1, you got to go back. Previous episode, give that a listen. But if you're here for part 2, baby, we got you. We're moving into the summer now of 1997. And specifically, I got to talk about this date, July the 2nd.
I love that from my sitting position, right before you say it, I get to see the album covers. So that's why everyone just hears me keep going, woo!
Yeah, may I say your enthusiasm is infectious.
I can't help it. It's one of those things where I can't pretend with 90s music. It is There's no irony to it. I am just pro it to my fucking bones.
I really am, like, after this podcast, like, afraid that I'm gonna like go back and be depressed that I live in the god awful 2020.
My ride home is just gonna be 90s jams forever. Just a rainbow behind me as I tell people what I really, really want.
Dude, after this, I'm watching the movies I missed from the 90s, like The Game and shit like that. I'm gonna watch
The Game
those.
is the one Fincher movie I seemingly refuse to watch, and I don't know why.
Me too. I've never seen it.
I've seen it. It's fine. It's the lesser Fincher, for sure. Yeah.
Lesser than Alien 3, though?
I don't count that. That's a studio project. I mean, when he actually, when
he's on the ground running, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, July 2nd, at the age of 89, we lose Jimmy Stewart.
Boo.
And it's true. Terrible.
Well, I didn't know he was alive then.
That older Jimmy Stewart voice when he's all gravelly is like a pretty great voice.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've heard it.
It's I think it's the DVD for Harvey, because I was in a production of Harvey at one point doing the Jimmy Stewart role.
Shit.
Oh,
and so I have a weird soft spot because as a kid, the little time I was acting, 13, 14, I did a lot of Jimmy Stewart stuff. I guess I'm just that white. I'm tall and white, so like here's the one actor we got. And I was watching like the features on it because again DVDs, and he does like a voiceover thing where it's not even an interview. It's just audio of him talking about doing Harvey, and he's like about to die. And just it is this beautiful version of his voice, but it's like an octave lower and gravelly, and it's such an interesting voice.
Yeah. It's just really down here.
Yeah, that's not that far off.
Yeah.
Well, that's July 2nd. That exact same day, get the fuck out of the way, old man. It's time for the motherfucking Men in Black.
Big Willie Styles all in it, everybody.
You can erase your memories with a stick.
I'm sorry, I thought I saw you pull that volume down.
No,
Here we go.
I mean... Okay, so again, Summer
what
Jam.
a pleasurable sensation. That's just Dana
Carvey.
This is Dana Carvey's Jimmy Stewart. That's where he's getting the blowjob.
I started to think it, and then I was like, no, maybe it's a real thing, and I will look like the fool.
Oh no, it's just Dana Carvey's Jimmy Stewart.
They won't let me remember.
They won't let me remember.
They told me it was swamp gas, but it was an alien.
They burn off my fingertips.
First time I heard Forget-Me-Nots, I had a complicated moment. Because I was like, on the one hand, this song's great. On the other hand, it's not as great as Men in Black.
Well, this is... I wanted to play this because this is the day the movie came out, too.
Yes.
And that movie...
It's perfect.
This is the apex of Will Smith. People who are not around for this shit...
Don't understand.
It was crazy,
He owned the planet.
I mean, yeah, he was the biggest fucking star in the world.
He saw Jim Carrey and was like,
fuck that, hold my non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, it's for the look. I don't light it.
Yeah, I think about that line constantly.
Cig-a-cigar from Cuba-Q-Bah. Just fight it. It's for the look. I don't light it.
I went to... My girlfriend does a lot of roller skating, and I went with her for her birthday to a roller rink.
This is the song.
Y'all got to come out to roller rink, but they started playing Miami at it. Yeah. And that was like the moment I started to like click in with skating in the rink too, and got my thing. And so I am just losing my mind. And just by the time it goes, I'm just full open mouth going, smoke a cigar out from Cuba-Q-Bah. Don't fight it.
But yeah, worldwide gross.
That's what I love about that line. Hey kids, it's cool to be a poser with a cigar. It's
Will
just
Smith
for the
was
look.
Never off brand.
Oh yeah,
he was never like, what you like about me is my brutal honesty and my vulnerability.
Yeah. It's like, yo.
I say welcome to Earth, and then you give me $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first movie I remember going to see in theater.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember seeing this movie in
with my
theater.
grandma.
Yeah,
I
this
saw
was
this
like
with my mom.
So this I was
Loves this
hyped
movie.
because I also knew it was the Addams Family guy directing it.
yeah, Barry
Barry
Sonnenfeld.
This
Sonnenfeld.
is, I would say, like 96, 97 is when I really become like a film addict.
yeah.
Like that's when like movies and music are now a thing I pay attention to and have
Sure.
thoughts on. And it was like, oh, Addams Family and Addams Family Values are two of my favorite movies of all time, and he's making a Will Smith movie. And it's got fucking aliens. Why are we making other movies?
When they put it on Netflix, I rewatched it and like, dude, holds
It
up.
holds up. It was such a relief.
It's so
Vincent
fun.
D'Onofrio.
That's what I said
Oh.
when we were talking about this downstairs, man.
This was like sugar. Yeah, this and water. more. Like that was my thing in. I guess what was I like 5th grade at this
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
So like that was my thing was doing the Vincent D'Onofrio impression for people, and just randomly like throwing in lines like "You ever pull the wings off a fly? You gotta see a fly get even," and just like sinking my chin into my neck.
And his wife, he wearing an Egger suit.
You're wearing an Egger suit. Egger, why does your face look like that?
Why does your face look like it's hanging off your
Yeah,
bones?
I've never seen Sugar do that. Sugar.
And then what? There was because fucking like we're not holding an intergalactic kegger.
Yeah.
Go get him, Tiger.
Goddamn, yeah, Rip
Rip
Torn.
Torn.
Like,
Prime time Rip
His
Torn
best
role.
moment too, and they're like, "So there's nothing we can do." He's like, "Ha, sucks, don't it?"
Sucks, goddamn, Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah,
Fucking- man.
Linda Florentino,
Yep.
right before she alienates everyone seemingly in Hollywood.
David Cross definitively dies and then shows up in the next one somehow.
It's a
Well, they
twin
go back
brother.
in time in the second one.
No, that's the third one, bro.
No, they go back in time in both.
They
No,
do.
yeah, they do.
They do go back in time.
They go back in
in
time
both.
because it's before Kay knows.
Yes,
that
he's got to go
in-
get Kay back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've only seen the second one the one time in the theater, and the third one for that matter.
I saw the third once. And
third was decent.
See, I was so bummed by the third.
Really?
But,
Okay.
well, and I was like, well, maybe 2 was a mistake. And then after that, I was like, oh, I only liked the first one.
Yeah, no,
I
same.
heard
yeah.
Josh Brolin's Tommy Lee Jones is
It's
not
it's
that bad.
pretty solid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
That- This movie, by the way, $589 million worldwide. Found.
It's sad that that's now a pittance.
Yeah, well,
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
adjusted for inflation,
It's like
it's billion.
2 billion.
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
Like that.
That's Ant-Man and the Wasp numbers. not
Pathetic.
first, yeah, pathetic.
Clint Eastwood turned down the part of Agent K, and Tommy Lee Jones only accepted the role after Steven Spielberg promised that the script would improve. And based on his respect for Spielberg's track record, he decided to accept. So.
Well, Tommy Lee
good
Jones
on him.
hates working.
Yeah, it's weird because
He
he's
broke his
amazing.
asshole,
at
so
it.
I'm hurt. Yeah, he's one of the best parts of the movie, of
He's
course.
so fucking funny in this movie.
He's great in it.
He's the Randy Orton of actors.
When-
he's really good at it, but he doesn't care.
Absolutely. When
Yeah.
he's hanging, when they're upside down listening to Elvis, and he's got his hair hanging, and he's banging on the drumming on the steering wheel.
Elvis is not dead. He just went home.
Yeah, yeah. So he had been disappointed with the first draft, which he reportedly said, quote unquote, stank. And his reasoning was that Tommy Lee Jones felt that it did not capture the tone of the comic. And
Tommy Lee Jones read the
that's
comic.
what I'm like, there's no goddamn
wild.
way. He just
He's
said
an-
that
Because
He's
the
a
comic's
real-
not great either.
He's a real actor.
he's a real stickler for comics.
The
God,
contract
I'd love to
wasn't
hear
looking
Tommy
the
Lee
same.
Jones's. I want to hear that guy riff on From Hell.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, you took a 1,000-page thing and you reduced it to this thing.
And I was going to say, like, they knew that they had a hit here, and the evidence of that is that the animated series premiered in October. So that means
Which
it
was
had,
a pretty good show.
and that means it's animated, so it had to have been in production way before the goddamn movie came out. So they just knew.
They knew this was a hit. This
Well,
is one of those.
yeah.
It's funny because then they make Wild Wild
Bingo.
West
Yes.
and think it's going to be this,
Bingo.
and then it's super not.
Yep.
And like
Yep.
the world goes into chaos.
Oh yeah, I mean Wild Wild West had like the same like amount
It has a
of, like,
better song. Like
it has
I'll
a be-
say it.
better song. It has the same hype machine behind it. Like I would say equal to Batman and Robin.
Same
Yes.
director.
Yeah, same Joel Schumacher.
No,
it's Barry
Barry
Sonnenfeld.
Sonnenfeld,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, this is it's fucking wonderful little movie. still.
There is very like, and you kind of, I feel like you don't even really think about it now. Like, there is very rarely movies like Men in Black where it is a hit months before it's out.
Well,
and then when it is out, it just takes over
I was
all of
thinking
culture.
about
Yeah.
this. This is back when we didn't have a choice.
Yes.
There was like,
Right.
you had 3 choices of entertainment, and they knew you only had 3 choices. So they're like, which one are you going to be? Because we got the fucking toys you're going to buy.
Yep.
We got the TV
Yep.
you're going to watch so we could sell fucking commercials to you. You're going to be fucking buying a little stick with a red light on it and shining it at your fucking friends. Like,
The
they knew
laser
it.
pointer.
They knew it.
At your next barbecue, you're going to have Men in Black collector cups out there.
So they were just like, this is what we're pushing on those people, and this is all they have.
Yeah.
They have no choice. It's this or nothing. You know.
Oh yeah, I would say 2, and to the degree a hit it was 2. Like there's kind of it's if you watch it now, it's kind of a quieter, lower key movie
Yes,
than
it-
most. You know what I mean? Like a lot of it's just like in just regular ass rooms.
This movie would have been nominated for an Oscar if it came out now for being a subdued, intelligent rumination on life.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, I just want to say Nas co-wrote that song.
What?
That
Really?
makes sense.
I mean,
I buy that.
if you
So he
go,
wrote Will Smith's verses, I guess.
go back and listen to his verses, and then hear Nas's rapping, and
Wow.
then see that they're identical almost.
That'll be. I feel like we're a good 10 years away from like the acceptance that Nas just wrote all of 90s rap music.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for Will Smith, I'm sure we're going to play Big Willie style
Oh, yeah,
later.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
song too.
Because they tacked that was a single. The song "Men in Black" was a single, and then they tacked
on
it
the
on
album,
to
yeah.
Big Willie style. And boy, that is a fucking monster. Speaking of monsters, July 15th, 8:45 a.m., Johnny Versace is shot dead outside of his residence by spree killer Andrew Cunanan. This is how the Miami Herald reported it. A gregarious wannabe socialite and gay gigolo murdered 4 men, including a former lover, in a cross-country killing spree before killing Versace. And then on July 23rd, a caretaker of a luxury houseboat in Miami reported an armed stowaway inside. So Cunanan shoots him, gets away, hides out in a houseboat. This led to a standoff with...
You hide out in a houseboat.
I didn't realize the prevalence of houseboats in the 90s.
No, buddy, I have so much on this houseboat.
This is the only time people fucking would consider living in one. I remember
Yeah.
at first it was like, oh, that's kind of a luxury. But you think about it now, you're just tied up to a house. You're tied up to a fucking pole in a river.
That's not-
how great is that?
And
Really?
it's also like when water beds are mostly a thing. Like people, again, the economy was on the upswing. People were taking
Yeah.
chances.
My parents still sleep on a waterbed.
That's crazy.
It is.
Whoa.
It is. It's
Holy
insane,
shit.
dude.
Are their backs fucked up? Does it?
No, I mean, I think they've been sleeping on the waterbed for so long
They're
that
used
it's
to it.
like the only thing. They sleep on a regular bed and they're like, ooh, this is hard. Yeah. They
Listeners, do you understand how crazy what he has just said is?
yeah, they don't. They have no fucking
Because you
clue.
can't buy a waterbed.
No, they've been sleeping on it.
Yeah.
It's been the same one.
That's
for,
fucking
I think they had to
incredible.
replace the bag once.
You got to patch it and shit.
Yeah, you
they
gotta
had to
plug the
replace it
holes.
once it got a leak.
You gotta,
Wow.
you gotta hook it up to the sink.
But the thing is, you
I
don't.
hate that I
if
now
you
want
get
to
it,
slap your parents.
it was fun. It was fun to play with the waterbed. But it's just fucking weird.
Holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even know a single person who has one.
Because I remember early 90s, like the last of my parents' friends or aunts and uncles having those waterbeds, and then all of a sudden nobody had a waterbed.
Yeah,
Bang.
yeah.
I mean, that's as like
definitely.
ancient as like L.A. Gears. Like
I was gonna
Yeah.
say I played Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on Genesis.
It sat next
On
to the
a
giant
waterbed.
beanbag chair.
Yeah.
I went to Birmingham to visit some parents, like friends, and they had a Sega Genesis and a waterbed, and my parents were hanging out in the living room, and they're like, "Oh, you can play video games," and I sat on a waterbed and played Sonic the Hedgehog.
I still
1
think
for the
that
first
sounds
time.
fun.
I mean, no, I do it
sounds
now.
great, yeah.
Still do that.
Yeah, I mean, your back would be fucked up afterwards. But yeah.
eat some edge crust Pizza Hut.
There
and
we
do
go.
That sounds great.
But yeah, there was a big standoff at the.
Frosty glass of pussy by your
Like a tyrant.
If I had this when I was 9,
Oh boy, yeah.
But yeah, big standoff at the houseboat, which ended with tear gas fired inside and the police hearing a single gunshot. Cunanan's body was found on the second floor of the houseboat.
2-floor houseboat.
2-floor houseboat. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The houseboat's owner, a German man named Torsten Reineck, was on the run from German authorities for fraud, and he was later arrested in Frankfurt in August of that year with tax charges and fraud.
So this is is just a houseboat of lies.
Yeah, and then
That's the interesting part. There's a murder and a suicide, and there's and also there was a financial crime.
well, no,
Houseboat of cards.
That guy's got to be like relieved,
no.
though. He sees his houseboat on the news and goes, "Oh fuck!" And they pull out a different dead body. And he's like, "Well, that worked out nice."
Yeah. The reason I found that fascinating is that this guy's spot got blown up. But they wouldn't have raised an eyebrow at this guy, except that this crazy guy shot himself in the head on his houseboat, and then he got arrested in Germany. And then
I'm not getting that deposit back.
and then on December 22nd, the houseboat sank after
So it's just a cursed
after
houseboat.
developing a problem with its bilge pump.
Most houses can't sink, but that's the problem with houseboats.
I feel like I'm the opposite on this. Like, the longer we sit here and the more I think about my financial situations, I start to go like, is a houseboat more viable than a fucking Los Angeles apartment?
I've known people who've lived on houseboats.
There was a guy in Long Beach where there was an ad at one point that was offering to rent out his yacht in a harbor as an apartment.
Yeah,
Wow.
we
I remember that, yeah.
We talked about this on the podcast. We had Ed Greer here on one of the last Corona Diaries, and there was somebody in Sausalito, and they called it a water loft or something like that, and it was
Jesus.
just the fucking little tiny cabin of it wasn't even a houseboat; it was like a fishing boat. It was ridiculous.
See, that's no good. But like a houseboat or a yacht, I would genuinely entertain the idea of just making that my permanent
You'd have
residence.
to be really rich to have a nice either one of those.
Yeah, you have to also find out really quick if you get sick on a boat or not.
Yeah.
Just vomiting constantly.
Meanwhile, the Portuguese caretaker of the boat, Fernando Correa, collected thousands of dollars in rewards for information, leading police to Cunanan, who was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. And he bought a Mercedes and began promoting a line of pistol holders called the quote-unquote caretaker quick draw, because he had famously had trouble drawing his gun when he stumbled upon Cunanan. So he goes to this houseboat to, clean it up, and then there's this crazy murder in there, and he tried to draw on him, and then I think he got shot at.
Is the crazy quick draw the one on the roll, like the twist?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
This was just I guess somebody like approached him to sell this.
Because I remember that was a
pistol
product at some point that was the holster that was on a pivot, so you could just turn it.
Oh, it might be. Yeah. But yeah, on the same day of Versace's death, we get one of the best albums of the fucking 90s, Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, Super Duper Fly.
It rules so hard. Yeah.
I mean, God, just
Still, I don't know how someone as ubiquitous as her can still be underrated, but she is
I fully agreed.
Yeah.
so underrated.
Oh my god.
like
Just, dude,
everything about it
this
is
and Under Construction are like 100% stone cold classics.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they don't like.
Well, and I put her on that same like Outcast level of like everything she was doing was so goddamn weird that it becomes timeless.
Yes.
You know?
Did this introduce Timbaland to the world?
Oh
too?
yeah, absolutely.
It's there. You have this run of like this and Wu-Tang at either end of the '90s, going like, well, let's just flip everything.
Yeah.
Flip it and reverse it. Indeed.
I always still, me and my friend from Birmingham will like we'll text each other every now and again. Keys to the Jeep.
We passed my birthday, by the way. Johnny Versace's my 11th birthday was the last day of Johnny Versace's life.
That's in August,
July 14th.
July 14th.
Yeah, but also it's
That was your specific memory, right?
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
He was so alive, and you were grateful.
I remember that houseboat, man. They would show it on the news, and I wasn't ever quite sure what the hell was going on. I didn't know who Johnny Versace was.
Yeah.
And by the way, did y'all watch that show?
I've heard it's good. I haven't watched
That's
it.
what
I've heard
Carter
it's
said.
great.
It's fucking incredible. It's
I've
better
heard it's
than the
good.
OJ one. It's amazing.
I heard the guy that plays the killer is outstanding.
So good.
Darren Criss.
Yeah,
I
some guy from Glee.
hate
yeah.
that the reason I want to watch it is just to watch Ricky Martin act.
He's great. He's fucking great at it. Yeah. Incredible.
Makes sense. He's been an entertainer since he was like a child.
Yeah.
So,
Menudo, baby.
That's right.
So this is from July 18th. I stumbled upon a thing I had never heard about, but this was interesting to me. Jonathan Norman is arrested near Steven Spielberg's Pacific Palisades estate, saying that he had planned to sexually assault the Oscar-winning director. And at the time of his arrest, Norman had in his possession 3 eye masks, 3 dog collars, handcuffs, a box cutter, nipple clamps, chloroform, a stun gun, and a day planner containing a photograph of Spielberg's head affixed to the body of a naked man.
I didn't hear about this either.
I How did I miss this? A guy with like, if you were just
This is the first news article we've hit where Twitter is the difference.
Right.
Steven Spielberg had to take his family to Ireland because of this. They're like, we're fucking out until you get this shit settled. But basically, this guy, the reason he got caught was because he was running around people's backyards with a stick and screaming, and then they arrested him.
Don't do that.
That's
You
bad.
Don't do
That's
that.
a
But yeah,
poor way to lead off.
he had apparently been denied a job at DreamWorks and was coming after Spielberg for it. But the list of shit in his possession.
Was he the director of The Road to El Dorado, perchance?
The list of shit in his possession is like, okay, come up with a list of the most stereotypical shit that a attempted kidnapper psycho would have. And the nipple clamps, really. That's just the best
it's
part.
also a perfect list of things people will yell at an improv show.
nipple clamps.
Picture of Steven Spielberg on a body of a naked man.
But yeah, that happened, and then the exact same day as that,
Woo!
we get
This was the other one I requested.
we get the other
Got
big,
to.
Anaconda and Fush You Mang.
Hey man,
It really is. This
me
is like
get out my
1997 the
soapbox.
song.
Oh yeah, get ready for it. All right, who's gonna do it?
No joke, I like to buy the world a token, teach the world to sing in perfect harmony, and teach them notice all the spies and the liars and the doubters. But it's spice to the recipe. This is a love attack. It's back. It's just like any fat. It retracts before impact, and just like fashion,
It's a passion for the. With the
That was the thing downstairs. We were saying a lot. That was incredible, by the way. We were saying downstairs, like we were like just taking little lines out of like we were talking like, oh yeah, we're doing walking on this side, great, and then just like a few moments of silence, and just like fashion, it's a passion with the witch in him.
You gotta be there when your baby's old enough to relay. Hey. So I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a minute. This whole album is great.
Is it?
Me,
it's
Connor
fun.
McSpadden, and Brandy Posey have built just a cluster of people who are really trying to fucking revive the
Okay.
reputation of Fush You Mang. I like this song, but like they are just a K-rock punk band.
Yeah.
Like on the rest
Yeah.
they're like a ska adjacent
ska punk band, yeah.
Because like fucking the opening song Flow is amazing about a guy who's with a woman who's clearly trying to not be a lesbian, and it's him just going like, just go fuck Flo. Like that's who you want to be with. Like why are you with me? And then just like fucking Beer Goggles is a great song. Padrino, their hilarious song about the mob for some reason is great.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Disconnect the Dots is just a phenomenal song. Like I like this is literally like a favorite album of mine, and it's
good.
so hard because
It's
like
good.
they become such a different band.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
they become this.
I'll
Yes.
say like Astro Lounge
It's fine.
First CD I ever bought, but going back and then buying this one, I was like, oh, this is the much superior
It's
album.
such an
Yeah.
incredible record.
Yeah.
Well, they have the Sugar Ray thing where they're a very different kind of band, and then the one song on the record that is like the huge hit. Everything.
But if you think about it, this doesn't even really sound like All Star. But it's
No,
that, it's that
It's just-
kind of like
it's just
retro thing.
It's got like the
It's
slinky
the dollar
Yeah.
signs that
Yeah.
saw the tunnel with the dollar
That's
signs
true.
at the
Yeah,
end.
it's like close enough to like the Hep Cat swing
Yes,
revival thing that was
exactly.
going on. It's got like that lead kind of sounds like it's in a Doors
It's
song.
got that, yeah. It's got the kitschy '60s thing that's kind of hip too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's a little bit of like thrill kill cult in this song.
It's sure.
Which is, I think, fascinating to me. Is like there's a lot of cool indie stuff happening at this
Yeah.
time that this record kind of sounds like.
it's almost like lounge music
Yes.
in outer space.
Yeah.
So it's
An Astro Lounge,
and
if you
in
will.
a world where
If
like
you will.
Urge Overkill is happening in Chicago at this same time.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember I was telling Rivers downstairs. I was like, this. When I heard this song, I was like, I want to grow sideburns one day.
I want sunglasses with yellow tint. Oh, God. I want a black and white checkered bucket hat.
My friend used to say this is like the story of this band is like three guys who all own hot rods but can't afford them. Go to a bowling alley and some guy the waiter comes up and is like, are these your hot dogs? And they're like, you want to sing in this band?
Hear me out. Can we, the group of us here, just make a fake Smash Mouth biopic with that plot line? We just make a biopic where we ballpark what we figure their life looks like.
Well, they all met in the Zoom.
This might be an episode where we actually have to entertain and possibly
we
make.
should do this.
This is-
hey, buddy, I got the full outfit. I went as Smash Mouth for Halloween one year, so I'm
went as
ready
Smash
to go.
Mouth? Did you just like gel the tips and
Oh, I was looking at the All-Star video, and ended up getting a Harrington jacket, and then I had to.
Did you have the soul pitch?
I shaved. I'll show you. I'll show you a picture. I had to find. I had the Pumas. I had the exact Pumas that he's wearing in the All-Star video.
The bowler shirt and everything.
He's not wearing a bowler shirt. He's wearing a V.
There's a
black V. He's wearing a Harrington jacket that's zipped up, and then he's also wearing khaki cargo pants, which was the part of the outfit
that was hard to find.
Shockingly, that is really fucking hard to find.
Now they're easier to find. They're back this season.
Yeah.
I've been clocking them every time I see them. I have found that the All-Star video is maybe one of the most Mandela-affected things I've seen. Because people just put whatever weird bullshit they want to put on them in that. And it's mostly a promotional video for the movie Mystery Men.
Right, yeah.
There we go. I'll put this on our Twitter so people can see it. I was.
Yep, that is perfect. You nailed it.
My God, buddy.
The second you said, "Here's your hot dogs," I was like, "We have to shoot this." I hate that we have to make this happen now.
Shout out to my friend. I believe Trip. My friend Trip came up with that.
Why did I get rid of all my fat guy bowling shirts? Man, when you were a heavy set kid and you wanted something, they were like bowling shirts. Bowling shirts is what you can wear.
Oh yeah, bowling shirts. And then you'll get some Hawaiian shirts.
Those Hawaiian shirts and those like work shirts with not your name on the tag.
Yes. The
It's still that way though with fat guys. It's like, do you want a button up or do you want to wear multiple layers? Because those are your choices.
I stand by it. Fat guy clothing still superior to fit guy clothing.
Yes.
I did have a quote from the guy who wrote the song. Smash Mouth guitarist Greg Camp said, quote, "Walking on the Sun was written during the whole Rodney King thing. The song is basically a social and racial battle cry. It was sort of a can't we all get along song for the time that when I wrote it. It was just all about the things that were going on around me as a young person, and I'm like, God, what's going on? I don't understand. Why is this happening? It's like we might as well be walking on a planet of fire." And that's how it came about.
He does the first verse. That makes sense.
Yeah.
He wishes he could get a token and buy a world to sing.
The lyrics are kind of clever. Because I always saw it as like comparing the 60s to now. Because there's that like, and their kids were hippie chicks, all hypocrites. Because like 60s aesthetic came back, but none of the like.
To me, this is a song I listen to and be like, well, the reason for this song existing is no reason other than they wanted to write a song, and now this is what it sounds like.
I could make a strong case for this being the movie introduction, just for if for nothing that little creeping that.
Oh, you mean when they introduced Jennifer Love Hewitt and Can't Hardly Wait?
Is that what it is?
Yes, that's what you're thinking of.
Fuck. Then okay, it's been done.
I cannot stress enough. This fucking year and I.
What if this was the intro? Like this song comes like the first song that plays during the opening credits for a movie that's a biopic about Timothy McVeigh.
He's walking to be executed.
Yeah.
Walking on the sun.
And then it's like, I bet you wonder how I got here.
August 4th, Jeanne Calment, the oldest person ever, dies at 122 years and 164 days.
Is she the one that's in the Civil War documentary?
Good job for her.
The Wikipedia says Calment died of unspecified causes. I'm like,
time.
I was going to say.
The answer is time.
A stiff wind.
She was killed by the band The Time.
Morris Day and The Time murdered her.
Yeah. The idea of somebody demanding that somebody figure out they were convinced the 120-year-old grandmother was murdered.
122. Yeah, a true crime documentary.
I like how they still can't. They're just like the batteries ran out. You know, there's nothing left.
She was murdered by excessive blinking.
It's like when because there's many old people I love in art, but like when Leonard Cohen died, and somebody was like, "Man, I'm so sorry," because they knew I was a big fan. I was like, he was 90 something. It's not like I can sit around and we got 3 good albums from him in his fucking 80s. I don't know that I can be greedy enough to go like, what was he still gonna do?
I always like the phrase, it's a triumph, not a tragedy.
Yeah, he had an album out and then died 6 weeks later. That's how I hope I die.
Exactly.
You're right.
2 days later, U2 is on their Pop Mart tour.
Boo!
When they get stuck inside of a gigantic lemon during the encore of their song Lemon at Vallehoven Stadium in Oslo, Norway.
Someone help me out.
I've never heard a good Bono before.
Someone help me out of the lemon.
This is from the blog Rocking the Norselands. Quote, the lemon prop experienced a technical issue which prevented it from opening, and some 40,000 people witnessed 4 shadowy figures sitting inside the lemon.
Well, the bass line to Big Bottom just continued.
While the backing tape of the song started and kept playing
as they were trying to get him out, like they're like, "Are you all right in there?" And then you could hear Bono going, "And outside, it's America."
The audience was not sure what to make of this and watched in awkward silence. After 2 full hours
like,
of
Zoo TV sucks now.
after 2 hours of cowboy suits, muscle shirts, and an inexplicable karaoke sing-along with Edge, it was unclear to everybody whether shadowy figures pushing and banging at the walls of a lemon was part of the show.
I will say, unpopular, well, maybe popular, but yeah, definitely popular opinion. I really love U2's highlights. Their lowlights are bad, but I
This
do
is
like
the
U2.
lowest, I
yeah,
think.
this is the worst.
Until Uno Dos Tres Catorce. This is definitely...
If anything past, I just mean Octung Baby, Joshua Tree War.
I hate all of it.
Really?
I like one U2 song, and it's the song Elevation from the Tomb Raider soundtrack. That is yep, that's the one.
I remember
Because I
that.
like a mole digging a hole, tearing up my soul is an undeniable fucking line.
They are the original Kings of Leon.
Yes.
In that...
And that Kings of Leon started to sound like that.
Well, there's that, but also, like, their later work was so shitty that it infected their earlier
Yes.
work for me to where it made it out unlistenable as well.
Yeah. Well, I did enjoy at
That
the old
is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to separate their good years from their bad years once you're aware of their bad. But it's like, I think Metallica's kind of the same way.
Yes, agreed.
It's like, you can't not look at, like, even their classics now and think of, like, how stupid Lars Ulrich is.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah. I
All
mean,
bands I'm also like fine walking away from the table at.
yeah. But, like, it did help me and my friend Riley at work to yell Uno, Dos, Tres, Catorce.
This was not the only time the lemon malfunctioned. In Las Vegas, as well as Japan, the band was sealed inside to such a degree that the lemon had to be wheeled off stage.
Hear me out, guys. In
with
our
them
Smash
still
Mouth
inside.
biopic, Lemon Malfunction is the band's name before they changed it into Smash Mouth.
They would emerge on stage through more conventional means.
guys, we're just going to do it in a few more shows.
They would emerge on stage through more conventional means after a long intermission. Other times, the lemon got stuck partially open, and the crowd could see them standing in there until a solution was found. Back tape.
Why
playing
don't they
away.
have a lemon guy?
Right.
A
Like
lemon
the Flaming
wrangler?
Lips used to have a guy whose whole job was to open a broken door on part of their set.
Right? Yeah. The UFO.
Yeah.
yeah.
Unpopular take. You too, better than Flaming Lips.
Bullshit. No. Terrible.
I mean, it's unpopular because it's incorrect.
Oh, unpopular and true.
You two battled 0 giant pink robots.
This is true. Yeah, and they would have lost too.
Wayne Coyne's
They've
whole like
Received no soft bulletins.
this Wayne,
And I believe you two used jelly.
Wayne Coyne running away from his kids and drugging up kids at fucking music festivals. No thanks.
When asked about it later in an interview, Bono said, "I still miss our lemon. It was a beautiful psychedelic, kind of
God,
funky.
fuck him in the fucking face.
It was a beautiful thing traveling in that lemon."
It was a beautiful thing, traveling. It made me think of all the struggles in the world. I mean, he's a douchebag. I'm not saying he's not a douchebag.
The next day, Garth Brooks, live from Central Park.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dubbed Garth Stock, the concert was free and became the largest concert ever held in Central Park with an estimated audience of over 1 million people.
That's wild.
And it was filmed for HBO.
That's metal band in South America numbers.
Rivers, why do you have 5 books about Garth Brooks?
Oh, I
on your
might have
bed?
a little project. I'm cooking
That's,
up. Watch
when we took a break, that was the first thing I inquired about after being done peeing.
Watch this space at Rivers Langley. Watch this space.
Yeah, these were prime Garth years.
The that album then becomes the best-selling live album of all time. Yes,
I believe so. Yeah, double live or whatever. The one with the big G on it.
suck it, Frampton.
Garth Mall.
Which was a mall they tried to open, and then George Lucas walked by and was like, "That's a great title."
That's a great title. Maybe I had a nightmare the other day. Maybe I'll.
You know, Bib,
Brooks.
you know, Bib Fortuna of Jabba's palace was named because he was taking care of his child and said, "I need a Bib Fortuna."
Oh, God.
Jesus. He's like, it's like
People get mad about this. People get mad about the guy who named someone Bib Fortuna not being cool about his continuity.
eventually you just start running out of ideas.
A couple days later, August 11th, we get.
We'll be singing when we're winning.
we'll be singing.
There we go.
Take it.
Get knocked down. Knock it up again. You're never gonna take me down.
Get knocked.
I mean, also the birthplace of he takes a pee and then he takes a pee in the kitchen sink. He drinks a whiskey drink, he drinks a vodka drink, then you take a pee in the kitchen sink.
Hey, normalize this behavior.
What a
That's I say.
great hit song. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of, like in the same vein as like Big Country, where like occasionally
God
like a
damn,
great
this
Euro
is-
pop song breaks
Boy.
over, and they're always like they don't fully make sense based on our perspective.
No, they make no goddamn sense.
Like this very much for me, same run as like Big Country. I'm like, why is he sad and wistful?
Yeah. just another perfectly constructed pop singer.
True,
Like,
but it's repetitive. It's the same 3 pieces repeated twice.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
And very much a product of its time
Yeah.
with the beat and everything.
Another very specific 97 personal memory. Miss Peterson's health class. We were instructed to write song parodies about, not
doing drugs.
Not doing drugs. And mine was, I don't do drugs because I don't get high. And that means I won't die. And,
An adage we hold true to this
I
day.
get what you're doing there. Yeah.
I was a really smart kid. Clever. Very clever. We didn't even do any of this part.
Whereas
We
I was
just sang this.
instead going, here comes the don't do drugs. I'm doing drugs.
Oh, God. And then, so this is August 11th. August 13th, South Park premieres on Comedy Central.
Rewatching South Park right now.
It's crazy how tame the first 10 seasons feel.
but it was TVMA just because they said bastard and Kenny dies.
And
Like,
they
that's
bleeped
it.
stuff. Like it is. There are children's programs now more offensive than the first season of South Park.
The first is so mild.
Yeah.
So mild.
And what's crazy is they ran this on a Wednesday.
Wednesday at 10
Yeah.
And
or 11. They had to put the warning out.
They had to move it later, actually, I think. But yeah, they ran it on a Wednesday night, which August 13th, like I can't help but like wonder if the thought process of doing it on this day, on that night, was to specifically give kids some shit to talk about at the end of the week.
Of course.
Because that is what happened immediately. Like one of my big memories is kids getting pulled out of class because they had South Park shirts and having to call their parents.
Oh shit.
They like people would come in and not even the offensive ones, the ones that just said like beefcake.
I had a
Yeah.
Big Dog South Park parody shirt I was not allowed to wear.
I remember that shirt. I know
Oh my
exactly-
god, they fixed Kenny.
Yes, I remember that shirt.
I had that in Lethal Whoopin' 4 with Renee Chuso.
But yeah, man, they would literally like get on to people about doing that shit.
I remember I didn't have Comedy Central, but I was obsessed with animation. So it's the same reason I have a working knowledge of Bebe's Kids, because if it was animated, I need to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that one, we didn't have Comedy Central, but my fucking cousins did. And so we did some family event there on like a Wednesday night. And I remember just fucking trying to get the parents to stall till 11 so I could watch South Park.
Yeah.
And like eventually like all the kids teamed up and our entire agenda was to watch South Park. So we had to make sure that the adults were distracted. I believe my dad threw interference. Like props to my dad, big early supporter of South Park.
That's so
Dad and sons.
that's so goddamn fun. All right, so I was not allowed. Like my parents did not like draw the line like this a lot of times, but they were like, no fucking way, you cannot watch this show.
No fucking way, you piece of shit,
Yeah,
asshole.
you little fat piece of
You
shit.
little bastard.
You little bastard. No, like
fucker.
it was not. It was like that was the one time my mom put her fucking foot down. Like, and then one day I was I woke up to get some water. Caught my dad watching it, and it
yeah.
was over. The dam exploded, and
Yeah.
then that was it. I could watch it.
My mom went out of town and we had just gotten Comedy Central, and it was the one where Kenny's parents are trying to have kids.
Yes, oh,
And
God.
there is that chunk where the dad drinks the abortion drugs and just starts shitting and vomiting into a trash can.
yeah.
And that I thought that would be the hardest my dad, my brother, and I have ever laughed together. And then 5 minutes later, they do the John Denver experience ride where the plane crashes and he breaks his nose and starts bleeding and vomiting and then just randomly shitting too, just cause. Like truly, a father and his 2 sons with full tears streaming down, sore throughout our body because we have never seen a thing funnier than this.
Bruce Fretz of Entertainment Weekly thought poorly of the writing and characters, stating, quote, "If only the kids' jokes were as fresh as their mouths, it might help the South Park kids had personalities, but they're one-dimensional as the show's cut-and-paste animation."
It's like the same people who
This
got
guy's
on
like
the.
if you 60 years old.
It's the same people who got on The Simpsons at the
Yeah.
beginning. It's just like, you
100%.
fucking fossil.
Well, they
like,
watch it, they're like, this looks weird. They said a curse word. It could not possibly be one of the deeper shows of a generation of television.
Oh my god!
Oh,
fucking classic.
Anytime a
It's-
little kid is sassy, adults somewhere shiver and go like, we got to shut this shit down.
Yeah.
I have vivid memories of kids on the bus saying, "Oh my God, they killed
Yeah.
Kennedy!" Like
You
it was
bastards,
Just,
yeah.
It was fucking everywhere, man.
And then
it was crazy.
A few years later, Adult Swim shows up and just pours sulfuric acid on everything. It just goes like, cartoons are fucked up forever now. You thought Celebrity Deathmatch was bad. Wait until you meet an Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Right.
You don't know what that is? You never will. Because you're 50 in 2003.
So a couple days later, Shaq's movie Steel is released on August 15th.
With Judd Nelson.
With Judd Nelson.
Had the action figure.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the action figure.
Had it of John Henry Irons.
Yeah,
that's right. That's
Talked
right.
about it on the Patreon. Go listen to that. And then the next day, woo!
I love this song.
Again, we're coming up at the end of the summer here, but man,
It's-
with a swish
and-
at the buzzer.
August is just like this year, it's bangers forever.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this song had been out for 2 years in New Zealand. This came out in '95 in New Zealand, where they're from, and then it was released here in this summer.
I will say, listening to these songs in succession, it is funny to notice that a lot of these songs have the same house beat to them.
Oh yeah,
They
Yeah,
all do.
absolutely. Yeah, well, like
People loved house music.
Yeah.
I think I actually did the second verse.
I mean, I like
I love this song.
I like how
Like,
it kind of
great song.
reserved the delivery is, very New Zealandy in that way, you know.
It's got that glorious trumpet solo too.
Oh, yeah.
that I really love.
Just a goddamn.
It's one of those songs like it has it's really well produced. Like the production levels on it are really fun. Everything like the mix is really well thought out. Like it's very subtle, but really lets every hook in the song play and have its own thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going full.
Well,
weird
no, you're-
sound engineer guy.
well, you're right, but also what's crazy is, like I said, this is from 1995. It just didn't hit America until '97, but it wouldn't fit in
No,
that
95. This
landscape.
can't exist. This song can only exist in this year.
This can't be alongside Hootie and Alanis.
No,
it
not
just
at all.
can't.
Well, that's the thing too about this song. That's like, I think similar to whereas Tub Thumping, that band contains multitudes. Chumbawamba contains multitudes. It's like the impression I get. Like this song completely wraps up what the entire thing
Yes.
that this band is about.
Yeah.
In a convenient package and in a very memorable way.
It's also, and I didn't really start thinking about it until like I recently went down a weird rabbit hole of listening to the singles off that first NSYNC record, and like Tearing At My Heart is the perfect example of like Euro trash music in '97 is just starting to like overtake into American
Oh yeah.
influence.
Yeah.
And as a result,
The Crazy Frog is indeed coming.
yeah, and they don't know yet how that works, like what it is about this Europop that's, Aqua takes off. Some of these things like that are going. And so they start throwing things like Chumbawamba and OMC because they're like, well, fucking the Macarena and Aqua work. Are these things you guys want? And we're like, yeah, kinda.
yeah.
Like
keep
people
the good times coming,
pop
yeah.
gets a little more adventurous. And I feel like it doesn't again until like the kind of like late 20 or like 2010s. It's
Yeah.
like the next time pop gets interesting like this.
Oh yeah, well it's also like this is, I would say it's all just a mishmash of a bunch of stuff, and it seems like the intention of a lot of these songs isn't to be like groundbreaking necessarily, but to be extremely pleasant on the ear. Like all these songs are
Moods.
very
It's
pleasant.
vibes, man.
It's shit you can stand in a Robinson's May and go through a clearance rack too.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And you brought up the specter of roller rinks earlier. Man, this was Battle. We had our local roller rink was called Battles Skate Center. It was owned by the Battles family. Shout out to BB. And they this was the type of shit they would play, like this and Cotton Eye Joe. Like,
I mean, this whole thing is this whole year is where the music is just candy. Like it's not
candy.
Yeah, it's all candy.
It's
It's a
all-
box of nerds.
There's nothing substantial to it really. It's delicious. But yeah, it's like there's no like
And
menace.
you want more.
Yeah, you want more, and it's not the best, but you want more. It's like there's no menace, there's no like psychedelia or any of that shit behind it,
Right.
And it's all pure like sweet candy.
Yeah. This is August 16th. 9 days later, 007 GoldenEye is released on N64.
Oh my
And
god.
it's, again, another thing that it's just, I mean, I look at the people in this room, and it's crazy to think that we have had different life experiences from different parts of the country.
Yep.
And we could take this into 10 other people we know of our age.
10 millions.
And that's what I mean. And look at all of them. And it's like, look, we might all be totally different, but if you say fucking GoldenEye N64.
Not just that. Not just say it. If you put a fucking N64 plugged into a TV and handed 4 controllers to any random group of 33 to 35 year olds,
Which I have
a
downstairs ready to go.
it's on after this podcast, motherfucker.
I'm gonna throw this down. So God, it was a long time ago, like 10 years ago. I was the best man for a friend's wedding, so I put together a bachelor party. And just as a testament to the kind of guys me and the groom were,
Yeah.
You got
our
some
bachelor
hookers
party
and some cocaine.
was we buy mid-priced beers, and I set up a projector, and we played
go.
GoldenEye on a projector while drinking beers, and it was the fucking best. But what was so funny is everybody picked up that controller, and especially if you've continued playing video games, a
Right.
thing has happened where the dual stick control for a shooter has come to exist.
Right, right.
And so you go back to that single stick on GoldenEye, and literally my brain went,
It's clunky. It's clunky and shitty
Like-
now.
See,
Halo broke us all, and it's so hard to go back.
Oh, by
It's impossible.
comparison, yeah, it was like you're on roller skates the whole time. And,
Well,
like,
you can't aim.
you can't aim. You can only just like kind of like jerk the gun up a little bit.
Yeah.
See, as a guy who's bad at video games, that works to my advantage.
Well, there's also auto aiming where the gun just
it's the
aimed
Doom
itself.
setup. Like you're
Yeah.
still playing ostensibly like you're playing Doom, where it's just
Right.
line the sights up on a one field.
Right, which is maybe not as challenging, but very very fun.
It's challenging because you're playing another human being who's also freaking the fuck
Yeah.
out,
Right.
Not being able to aim and being shot at. That's what makes it fun. I mean, it's a bad game now. If you compare it to every game now, it's bad.
I refuse.
But
I
those
refuse.
people,
It's still so
that
fun.
company made Time Splitters and a bunch
A
of
Rare,
other.
a Rare, yeah.
Well, that's the weird thing.
Diddy Kong Racing
I maintain
and Conker's
Perfect
Bad Fur
Dark
Day.
is across the board mechanically a better game to play
Yeah,
than GoldenEye.
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
better
With
story,
better
too.
better multiplayer even but GoldenEye is such a thing that is like it's in the bones of a generation of young people.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
it's like there are better punk bands, better alternative rock bands than Nirvana, but Nirvana was the first.
Nirvana is GoldenEye.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's like the same shit. Like
absolutely.
dude, did anyone ever? This is a weird thing. Did you ever like set up multiplayer, but it's just you
And then you just walk around killing people.
and just walk around
Oh,
killing people?
no, I did not
Yeah.
do that, and I was an only child. That is sad.
Well, like it's like my brother would leave the room, and then, or did you ever do this when like your like friend or brother
Unpause?
would unpause and then just go and just like lace his
Oh, yeah, they got to go to the bathroom and you fucking murk them.
and, and because it was tea, it was graciously it was tea, so we're like a lot of kids were allowed to buy it because it wasn't rated M or whatever. Like Turok was rated M, and it was insanely gory. But
and
GoldenEye
difficult to control as well.
but like the death scenes were hilarious. It was like, but like the GoldenEye shit where you just like, "Whoa!" But like you could just paint someone's face red by shooting it a bunch. Oh man, that was fun.
Oh Christ! Yeah, that's that game. Because I didn't own an N64 until college. I randomly got one at a yard sale for like $6, which
dope.
Which now. You could fucking flip
It's-
all those games. Like, dude, I saw online right now somebody was selling that game Conker's Bad Fur Day.
well, that's like a crazy
for
thing.
$150.
Yeah.
So that game, that's actually pretty low for that game too.
Is it?
So
Yeah.
that game came out. That's like one of the last games released for the N64.
Yeah.
and it was a real like risk putting it out anyways.
Yeah,
so that
it
game
was, like, dirty.
There's
Yeah.
a very very low supply of that games that were made.
Yeah.
so that's part of why that one goes for especially a lot. Is
Right,
that that's
but
a
all
real
these
get.
games
Like
go
200,
for
like $200. Like
It's wild because when we were teenagers, it was you could buy a Nintendo for $6.
Yeah,
and now that shit goes for so much money. So I
Yeah.
always laugh like right now people should be buying fucking PS3s.
Fuck yeah,
or
my
PS3s
man,
and
you're
PS4.
sitting on a gold mine, buddy.
I have a PS3.
Oh, I got mine too. You got the OG? I have the Foreman Grill version.
I think I have the OG. I don't know. I didn't buy it. I just got it for free.
I
yeah.
bought it like the year before the PS4 came out, and what was great is like I have every good game because they were all $3.
yeah,
dude.
And so
Still
like I'm
that.
replaying Dead Space for getting hyped for
Dude,
Halloween.
I bought an Xbox 360 for $30 and had like downloaded like every good game for it. It is fucking great.
Yeah,
like,
it's that if you know, I've getting smarter about it. That like if your new generation's coming by the one before the one.
Yeah, well,
right.
Come 2030, you could buy a houseboat with that PS3, Sam.
Also, as we edge into our 30s and 40s, we're going to be more obsessed with nostalgia and overwhelmed by
my
new shit.
brother has become a retro game collector guy, and it is fascinating because
it's all I play.
What's really nice is that like I really like that stuff, but like I have too many hobbies. Like if I started doing retro gaming, I would have to just end my life because I could not take on one more set of shit in my room.
right.
A lot of cartridges involved.
Yeah, and now I don't know if you guys have seen. There's this company Analog. And like, because my brother has 2 of their setups, and they do premium versions of vintage consoles.
I've seen the GoldenEye one.
He has a Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo, and they're these sleek boxes that have modern video outputs and upscaling in them.
I've thought about buying one for myself.
You still use a cart.
You still use the cart. Although you can also dump the cart into a ROM and put it onto an SD card too, so you can rip your old game.
That's what I figured.
It's
do with
pretty
that
incredible
fancy technology,
but it's definitely like you know, he chose to start living a lifestyle, and it's fun to live adjacent to someone living that lifestyle because then I don't have to get rid of synthesizers or art supplies.
Right? Yeah,
a bunch of guys talking like about like old school games and shit like this like passionately. It really brings a different connotation to the drink called pussy that we drank earlier.
August 26th, we get this might be my favorite song by this artist. We get Mariah Carey,
Fantasy,
Honey.
Oh, Honey, there you go. This actually is, I think, maybe my favorite Mariah Carey song
fucking
too.
incredible.
It's that piano line.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Who produced this?
Let's see. No, this was after. Let's see. I'm not sure, but the video is what I wanted to talk about because the. Goddamn, it's so good. So the video, in the video, she's like a secret agent, and she jumps off of a balcony in a bikini, and it is highly memorable. She is fighting in the video Eddie Griffin. She's like a secret agent, so she's got to beat up these guys. It's Eddie Griffin, Johnny Brennan of the Jerky Boys, and Frank Siviero, a.k.a. Frankie Carbone from Goodfellas. Those are...
Oh, you mean Little Nicky's, she does this crazy thing with my nipples. That guy?
Yes. The Jerky Boys are a weird thing lost to history.
This is
right. 90s relic for sure.
Watch the trailer because the trailer doesn't explain the movie. It explains to you who the Jerky Boys are.
Right.
I was working on something where we were trying to make a Jerky Boys parody work as a joke at one point in it. So I spent 2 solid hours just down a Jerky Boys rabbit hole.
That trailer played alongside the trailer for Friday on the VHS of Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
I remember that. That's where I remember it from.
Anyone ever listen to a Jerky Boys album?
Just You Kick My Dog. That's the main one I know.
You Kick My Dog?
Honey had 3 producers. It has fucking Puffy, Q-Tip, and Stevie J.
That's right,
Q-Tip? Damn.
Yeah. So in the video, everyone is on jet skis, and she is being chased by a helicopter. And
I remember.
I was just marveling at how much goddamn money is involved.
This is really entering that golden age of the expensive music video, which is, I always feel like, capped to a certain extent by the Space Lord video. That is the parody of an expensive music video.
Right.
Oh, by Monster
Magnet?
Yeah.
Because I didn't get it as a kid, because I was like, why is this weird guy in a fur coat looking like such an asshole? And then years later, I was like, oh, he was joking.
Right, yeah.
The first note of the song does not start until 1 minute and 59 seconds into the video. It's all the secret agent stuff.
Well, that's helicopter land.
I realized that recently when you watch videos from old eras, they have like these super long and you think, why the fuck would they do this? And then you remember, oh yeah, MTV cut this part out every time.
Right.
This part existed to like
they
for no one
that premiere.
For no one to see, basically.
And I think that like literally. Like, Smack My Bitch Up won best video for a video they could not play on MTV.
That song sucks, too. I listened to that song the other day, just came up on YouTube. I was like, man, this song's fucking horrible.
But you know what's rough is, like, I have become a big Prodigy fan, and you are not wrong.
Yeah. They have better songs, because I've heard
Firestarter.
Yeah.
Like,
Firestarter rules,
Girl. Invaders Must Die, which got used a bunch in Scott Pilgrim, is a real underrated track from them.
They did a Bad Boy remix of this song where they just did more of the video, and except now Puff Daddy every once in a while is going, yeah, I like that. and that's it, just on the downbeat. Just no.
Can you imagine?
No. Just I like that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
I like
just
that.
being the sound engineer at Bad Boy for so many of those things, where you're just sitting watching him in a room,
Vibe
and
out
all
on
he has
mic.
done is go, "Oh yeah."
All I want is just those isolated stems of just
the
him.
way we got the David Lee Roth running with.
Yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say.
100%.
And just put a MIDI track to him going like, oh yeah.
Biggie would purposely go into the studio when he knew Puffy wouldn't be around because he hated stuff like this so much.
Really?
Yeah, he would purposely he'd find out when he wasn't going to be there, and he would go in like
Hey,
the middle of the night.
That's why Suge Knight said, if you want to be a real artist,
Without the
that's
producers all up
exactly-
dancing in the
dancing in the
videos.
videos.
You know what's
Exactly.
weird? Godzilla did the same thing. He hated being in the studio with them. So him and Jimmy Page would go, hit a deli.
the Bad Boy remix has the video has Mace, Puffy, and the Locks, which is Jadakiss's group.
Oh, okay.
They're flying a helicopter and they pick her up off the jet ski, and then they have a whole new section.
Is the Locks a
inside the
further
helicopter.
spin-off of like the Junior Mafia then?
No, that's they
Separate
were,
thing.
they
Oh,
were
different
involved.
group.
Yeah, they're like
Jada-
Jay-Z's.
Jada-
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Jadakiss and
I was really
Styles
hoping
P
that it was
and
like
the
a real
other
like
one.
New World Order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were they were Rockefeller. They were signed to Rockefeller, weren't they?
They were signed
The Locks?
to
No, they're Bad Boy.
Oh, okay.
It's the Bad Boy remix.
okay.
Paul Hunter, who directed the video, I noted not Hype Williams, but has hype tendencies. He also did the video for Hypnotize earlier in the year. Can't Hold Me Down by Puffy, and also Holla Back Girl, which we talked about in the 2005
I didn't
episode.
realize that was that
Same
far
director.
back.
Yeah,
This
same
is
director.
when
Oh, same director.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say,
I was like
there's
in
no way that
1997. Holy shit.
No.
It was like at least
same
2005 or
video
something.
director, yeah.
Gwen Stefani was like, just remember this, guys.
Right, well,
You're right.
but that's what I'm saying. Like in that video, it's like we need a marching band.
Yeah.
you know, like this guy is excessive. To
This
say
is
the
a
least.
classic example of Puff Daddy riding the wave of Biggie's death.
Yes.
yeah,
knowing
and
that.
the wave of Mariah Carey's jet ski.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's just because he's like,
like
I gotta
that.
go.
God
fucking
damn you.
They just pumped out all of his like verses and stuff that they had in the vault.
Yes.
They're just like, let's do a remix of everything.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Let's do a remix of everything.
But
He did a song with Shaq. We were talking about Steel earlier.
That's right.
Have they ever released Shaq's tracks off of Chinese Democracy? Because he recorded raps for Chinese Democracy
What?
at
What
some
the
point.
fuck?
I think he's on the new Kanye West album, right?
He's on Donda.
Yeah, I think he is.
Actually, I feel like you are correct. I feel
He
like I
is,
did
yeah.
hear that. For a minute, I was like, that's solid. Then I was like, no, I think what he's saying is
It's
real.
real.
Holy shit.
Just when you can't love Kanye any fucking more.
I mean, in theory, yes.
He brings 1/5 of the Uncle Drew team onto a track.
But yeah, that's Mariah Carey, Honey.
Another banger.
Yeah, man, that whole record, dude, Butterfly, fucking incredible. 3 days later, the world's first online DVD rental store, Netflix, is launched.
What?
97?
With 30 employees and 925 DVD titles available,
Wow.
which was almost the entire catalog of DVDs at that time.
No way.
Good
Netflix
on
started
them.
in 1997.
1997, yeah.
When did it get around to us? Like, I felt like they didn't get around to like,
2003, 2004?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably till DVDs were like cheap enough for everybody to have them.
I remember
my
you
sense of time is so fucked
Isn't
up. I
that
thought
cra-
it started at like 2010.
Say- like
Here's
you
my
said.
thing. I think Netflix takes off the day The Sopranos comes out on DVD.
That's fucking
That's
right.
all
Yeah.
I fucking knew. Anybody who had Netflix, it was because they
Yeah.
were watching The Sopranos one disc at a time.
Well, we were
That's
talking
right.
about DVDs in part one, and I was getting curious because as far as the DVD goes, like they didn't really release TV shows yet.
Yeah.
This year, the only TV shows I saw was they released like some Beavis and Butthead episodes as like a collection.
they
on
were
DVD.
doing it like the VHSs used to be.
Right. There was really not, and then they released, I think, a collection of Andy Griffith episodes, like the
Yeah.
shit they were putting out as far as TV. But I think you're exactly
Simpsons and Sopranos kicked that
and
fucking
Sopran-
door
and
open.
Seinfeld, too.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
right. Seinfeld, yeah.
And then like those go, and then by the time Arrested Development comes out on DVD, like the world is a different place.
right. Well, and
I remember everyone had the seasons of South Park, the DVD seasons of South Park.
Yeah.
I
Well,
read
as far as Netflix goes, I mean, that is like my number one like old man shit. I'm going to be able to say to somebody, it's like my roommate had Netflix and you mailed DVDs.
Yeah.
I remember
We all did it.
coming
crazy.
over to my friend's house and them going, check this out, and they turned on their Xbox and it had the Netflix streaming thing, and they're like, "This just came out. You can stream movies instead of renting the discs." And I remember, and it was that original Netflix where they had nothing. It was like the good, the bad, and the weird, and capitalism, a love story. Where like what was on there?
They have the other guys,
and the other guys.
That's what got me on Netflix streaming. Was I was like, I guess I'll watch this.
And I just remember looking at it going like, this is the smartest thing I've ever seen. This is going to change the world. I sure wish I had any way to use this program.
Bought some stock instantly.
Yeah, man.
Does anyone have a Netflix movie that they maybe unintentionally forgot to turn back in?
See, I was making it a blockbuster night until the very end.
Oh God, what was
Really?
ours? There was one. That
I
was
have
just
a copy of Corpse Bride by Tim Burton that I still have
Nice.
not watched.
Fuck yeah, that's the best part.
Yes, still haven't seen it.
There was one at our apartment, and I can't because I would always I'd be cleaning up, and I'd always see it that had just been sitting there for months. I'd have to hit up Matty P and ask him, but I swear we had and I want to say it was Brick or
Okay,
some
that
movie,
sounds like the perfect
some movie
kind.
like that where it's just like, why do we not want to put this in the mail? Why is this still here?
You watch a movie that's good, but not good enough to remember to send it back.
Yeah, or like something that were enticing enough to I want to watch it, and then you just never do.
Or it's like you got it last minute as you needed a second disc. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll rent Hidalgo.
That's a perfect one.
Yeah.
Quick Hidalgo thing. 'Cause the drummer in one of my bands went and saw Hidalgo with some friends all fucked up, and they were sitting behind an old lady. And I guess there's this scene where Viggo Mortensen has to eat a bug, and he tries to offer it to the horse, and the horse is like, "Wah," doesn't want it, and it's a laugh in the audience. And the lady in front of them went, "I'm with you, Hidalgo."
That's almost when I saw The Force Awakens. For some reason, we went there at night. There's no one there. This is close to opening weekend too. For some reason, there's no one
It's
there.
weird. Force Awakens I think it's because it was in every theater in America, so you could have a private screening if you did it right.
Yeah.
And this just happened to be this case, and we were like, "Sweet, no one's gonna yell at the screen or whatever." And then this one lady in the back went up and in the part where Kylo Ren and there's the big lightsaber fight in the forest, and this lady goes up and goes, "You're toast!"
Yeah.
And the guy who I went to go see it with, who worked with me, lost his mind.
Yeah.
I've definitely told this on the show, but I don't care. We were watching Skyfall. I was with Ben Bazuna and Andrew Lopez, and this opening scene, James Bond is running on top of a train, and he slips, and he kind of scrambles back to his feet, and the guy sitting in front of us goes, "I told you he was going to fall wearing those dress shoes." It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. That happens 2 days later, August 31st, 1997. The world loses. Princess of Wales, Lady Diana, dies in a car crash in Paris.
You're 5,000 candles in the wind. That's all I think of. I know it makes me a monster, but I also miss little Sebastian.
She crashes the car in Pont de l'Alma road tunnel in Paris, pronounced
My
at
brother
4
drove
a.m.
past it when he and his lady friend were in Paris.
You know what's funny? I am reflecting my time now as a tour guide. This makes all the sense in the world, but I remember when I went to Paris for the first time, taking a bus tour, and they drove us past, and I remember telling my friends when I got back home, it was crazy. We just happened to drive through that tunnel. Now I'm like, they obviously just, and weirdly they have it's wrapped in gold to mark where it was at.
Oh, Jesus.
So because the crazy thing with this fucking tunnel, when you drive in there, no guardrails. To this day, there's no guardrails in between where the posts are, in between the...
And that's what they hit.
And that's what they hit, and they have put kind of a gold wrapping around the one that she actually hit, so you can be like, it's that one, which is pretty wild.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's a bit like the X in the middle of the street in Dallas, where you're just like...
I did not know that was a thing before going to Dallas.
Right.
Because that was my one thing I needed to attend while we were there.
It's one of those things where you're like, this is weird, and also thank you.
I could do a whole episode with you just on the Dallas Museum.
Oh,
legitimately,
buddy, I'm here.
Every fucking part of it kept getting better.
Yeah,
Because my favorite thing is the entrance is hard to find, and do you know who won't tell you where it is? All the guys in folding chairs who want you to buy their book.
Her partner, Dodi Fayed, and the driver, Henri Paul, were pronounced dead at the scene. Their bodyguard, Trevor Reese-Jones, was seriously injured but survived the crash. So the funeral was held at Westminster Abbey on September 6th and watched by over 2 billion people worldwide. And Elton John, of course, performs what we're listening to here, Candle in the Wind, 97.
The last time people really dug the British royalty for quite a while.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, the last time
Till Harry got hot.
That's right.
I found out this is the first, last, and only time he ever performed this song live.
Really?
He still does the Marilyn
Original,
Monroe
yeah.
version in concert, but this is the only performance of 97, Candle in the Wind.
That's amazing.
So, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, Elton John's Candle in the Wind is the second highest selling physical single of all time, behind only Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Wow.
It sold 33 million copies, and Elton actually became Sir Elton on December 31st of 97. And of course,
he got knighted pretty close to this.
They were like, that was a real bro move. We appreciate it, Sir Elton.
Yeah. And also, go back to an earlier episode. We did a episode on toy crazes, episode 215. This was also right shortly after the introduction of the Princess Diana Beanie Baby, which was really popping off this year as well.
Man, Beanie Babies.
Such a respectful tribute.
Well, it continues part of the Beanie Babies are real hard to get a read on because they throw out a lot of weird wild card things like that, where all of a sudden they're just like, here's a special bunny that thing that represents Lady Di, like a little bear. It's got some fun colors.
Yeah, it's got some fun colors and it's worth a lot of money.
So yeah, that's Princess Diana. There she goes.
For anybody who thought we weren't going to talk about it,
You got to. That's the #1 news event of the year, my man.
I know there'd be
is
people, if they
crazy.
listen to it, they'd be like, they didn't talk about Princess Diana's death. I specifically listened to the Goods from the Woods to hear their takes on it.
We got a lot of Princess Di heads out there.
Yeah.
Princess Diehards, we call them.
Diehards, yes. September 14th, the Emmys are hosted by the most electrifying man in entertainment, Bryant Gumbel. Third Rock from the Sun took home an Emmy that year, but that's the most notable thing. Is I'm like, of all people,
This, I believe,
Bryant Gumbel
begins the Lithgow domination, where him and Kelsey Grammer just fucking double team Best Actor in a comedy for a decade.
and Tim Allen too. Let's not leave behind the Tool Man.
I told you that.
Did he win?
No, but they were all in contention.
Gotcha.
It's like Frasier.
He was like a perpetual nomination.
Frasier, Tim Allen, and John Lithgow.
Three funniest people in the world.
I was going to say, Lithgow's not a Republican shithead, right?
I was going to say, Lithgow is the only one that has survived into 2021, still being admired by most people.
Carly lives next to Fred Stewart, right?
What?
Yeah.
No
I've
shit.
seen him at the store by her house like 3 times.
He's tight with the Lady to Lady.
That's right. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's done their show a bunch. He does their live shows. It's
Seems like a nice guy. He's
sometimes in entertainment, a combo happens where you're just like, I'm so happy this exists.
Yeah,
the world is a little
absolutely.
shinier because French Stewart and Lady to Lady have a fun relationship.
He's very nice to Carly's dog. He seems like a nice
Seems
guy.
like a good dude.
Yeah.
The day after the Emmys, September 15th, the domain name Google.com is registered.
Whoa.
97, huh?
That's when they registered the name.
That's fucking
The,
wild.
the company didn't launch until the next year, but somebody registered that name on September 15th.
Holy shit.
So that's the beginning of Google. September 19th, the film I have to talk about, LA Confidential, is released.
Fucking rules.
okay.
Fucking rules.
Spacey aside, doesn't matter. Fucking
that
incredible
shootout
film.
sequence at the end of that movie is one of the most satisfying sequences in a film.
Oh, yeah. If that is a watch it with your dad and
Yes.
Bond movie.
Oh my God, yes.
That is like the master and commander of its time.
I feel like my parents rented that movie 600 times. It seems like that was just perpetually like I would go to Hollywood Video, I'd be looking at like Jackie Chan's First Strike or something, and then my mom would be like, "We're gonna watch LA Confidential again." Like it just was a movie.
It's I hadn't seen it in years, and I rewatched it like last year.
And
it is a solid flick.
Anytime
So
it pops
it's
on,
a great noir movie.
Yeah.
Like,
It also, like, if Guy Pearce just walked into a scene towards the end dressed as Batman and fucked people up, like, you would just be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Fucking, you've earned this.
that's one of those
gave
movies.
me more respect for 8 Mile. Same director, Curtis Hanson.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of
And
those
when
He
movies.
got a real interesting style to him.
Yeah, he did that. He did Wonder Boys.
Okay.
He's like-
These are all movies I like.
Wow.
Yeah, like
shit.
he's a great director. He died unfortunately, but he's a great director.
Wonder Boys, I believe, is the one that had the really creepy Bob Dylan song.
Is that the Alicia Keys thing?
No, it's the other creepy one. The things have changed.
Oh, okay. I can't tell you how often, because of this fucking show, I am walking around my house thinking things and Alicia Keys, like near constantly at times, and I'm just like, God damn it, Rivers.
Damn. I'll put that. I got to put that as a clip up on YouTube. That was a great one. October 5th, WWF Bad Blood in Your House, the first ever Hell in a Cell match.
We all
Really?
remember.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, and the introduction of the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, Kane. Gets his
Kane was
intro.
97.
Yeah,
I
comes
would have
in.
thought that Hell in a Cell was like an ancient thing.
That's the first one.
I remember when Kane became a thing, I was like, I was scared. I was like, that guy really is crazy, though. Like, he's really from hell, I think.
I saw
when he
him
finally-
at a gas station at State Line once.
No shit. When he finally did start speaking, he had the little like throat, the the thing that you get when you have a
like Ned in South Park.
And when he joined DX, they were like, "What do you have to say about it, Kane?" He's like, "Suck it." And that guy is the mayor now. October 10th. I know Carter's chomping at the bit to talk about this one. Boogie Nights is released.
My
man.
second favorite movie of all time.
I mean, pretty
Incredible.
top 5 for me as well.
It's the best movie from one of the best filmmakers that have
Yes.
been that are around. They're currently alive.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. It's great every time. It's funny. It's super dramatic. The acting's incredible.
Yeah.
Taylor took me to a drive-in screening of it over the beginning of summer, and I lost my goddamn mind.
Dude, a friend of the show, Blake Hamilton, last weekend, they were doing it at Cinespia,
Yep.
showing Boogie Nights about 20 feet from where Burt Reynolds is buried in Hollywood
Holy
Forever.
shit.
Which is fucking wild.
Do you think when people say that There Will Be Blood is the best P.T. Anderson movie, do you think that they know that they're wrong?
I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth.
I don't even a little. I don't equivocate
Really?
in
No?
any way, shape, or form. That movie, Boogie Nights, is a near untouchable film.
It's flawless.
It is.
Like,
It
yeah.
is true. Like the way people get fucking militant about like Back to the Future or Star Wars, I am that level of intense about Boogie Nights. Like I will not take any level of besmirchment.
yeah.
It's. I am more passionate about it than I am about my first favorite movie, which is the first Ninja Turtles movie, for the record. So it's like that's because I've loved it my whole life. Boogie Nights is the one where I was like, oh, this is like everything like a movie should be. I've been made fun of before when I film things that everything I do is just trying to do the party scene oneer.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because movies
Oh,
never
God.
got better than that again.
That house.
Does it piss you off that P.T. Anderson was 28 when that movie
Right?
came out?
Yeah.
I don't care. He's whatever he needed to be.
Well,
to give
no,
it
but
to
that's
me.
one of
He's a
those.
goddamn genius, so it's like, of course.
It's one of those things where they
He's
tell
young
you,
enough that he can still make fucking
Yeah.
Inherent Vice for me later. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say that is one of those things. Like, yeah, he's super young. It's like when they tell you, Mary Shelley invented science fiction when she was 19. You're like, Jesus, fuck. What are you
right.
talking about?
She was smarter than almost every American by 19 too, though.
No, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, man, that movie. I don't know. As far as the There Will Be Blood thing, There Will Be Blood, I think is my favorite movie that's been made in my lifetime. I'll put that. I'll put that.
I'm not saying
equivocation in front
just
of it.
It's a
rewatch
good
it
movie.
recently.
But
It's great.
It does not.
PTA has not made a bad movie.
Right, but
yeah.
Boogie Nights is like it's a funnier film for sure.
I think it's more moving.
I like it because it's everything. It's scary. It's funny. It's sexy. It's dramatic.
Yeah,
it's vulnerable. Like. It's also like it is the only 3-hour movie that I can sit front to back and never feel the time. I think it is
that and
paced better than
Goodfellas.
any movie ever. Yes, Goodfellas being the other one, where
Yeah.
those movies are paced so fucking well that you do not notice how long they are.
Absolutely kinetic. Yeah. And you're if it's on halfway through on TV,
I'll
I will
watch
sit
it.
and watch the
I
rest of it.
physically cannot not watch it if
Yeah.
it is going somewhere. I will
Oh, it's
abandon
incredible.
plans because, especially if we're going to get there right before William H. Macy kills himself,
Oh, God.
like the best smash cut of all time, just blown out 80s.
That's right. Nina Hartley making a cameo
It's
little-
just
right
Ricky
after.
Jay's
I'm
line,
an idiot. I'm
they're
a
gonna-
fucking idiot.
Fucking Ricky Jay's line. They're going to do that ball drop thing.
Yeah, they're gonna do that ball drop thing. Oh man, his monologue in at the beginning of Magnolia, I was like, that's one of the best narrated voiceovers I've ever heard.
It's. Have you ever, Carter? We should one day just have 7 hours of being the two least fun humans in the world, and we should. I think you're the only other person I can get to do Magnolia and Shortcuts back to back.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like one guy doing a cover song of another guy's movie, and I love both, and they are both very flawed, and we should totally do that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's definitely like it's
And they both contain Julianne Moore
They're-
yelling at different people.
right. And, again, going with like Anderson's like Altman obsession, but like yeah, they're both great movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. It's totally him just like indulging in his Altman.
But the first time I saw Shortcuts, like, because I came to Altman through PTA,
Right.
and was just like, holy shit, Magnolia is just this movie.
Yeah. Once you realize it's like, oh, it's just him ripping off.
Not
with
even ripping
style.
off. It almost feels like a sequel in an impossible way.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's I feel like it's a mad world, and fucking Shortcuts than this as far as like, let's get celebrities and throw them in and see what happens.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
2 days later, country singer, songwriter, environmentalist, and actor John Denver dies when his single-engine experimental plane that he was flying crashed in the Pacific Ocean just off Monterey Bay.
That shit's insane to
Forgot about
me.
that. I forgot he died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
and another like
Experimental plane crash.
yeah.
We don't focus enough on the word experimental in there.
Yeah. we bandy about that term willy nilly.
As if he maybe was in Wonder Woman's invisible jet.
right.
or the thing Howard Hughes was flying.
Yeah, the spruce goose he
the
was up
Spruce
to.
Goose.
Or like the Rocketeer pack.
Yeah. I will say this, and I feel like maybe I'm with a good cluster of people. I don't fucking get John Denver at all. Like, it is one of those things, because I was just watching something that played, I believe it was one of the Final Destination movies, plays a John Denver song.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, I don't get any part of John Denver.
I think Country Roads Take Me Home is an all right
I
song.
like, thank God I'm a country boy.
Yeah, and it's
kinda fun.
Is it country? Is it folk? Is it intentionally the softest shit in the world?
it is.
Like,
Yeah,
It is.
it's
Yeah.
60s folk pop.
Sunshine
soft
on
shit.
my shoulders makes me happy. I have to fight you now.
I mean, but he went up against Tipper Gore when she was trying to put those
Sure.
advisory
That's
stickers
true.
on.
Like him as a guy. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Seems like a good dude. Don't understand his music.
That's fair.
I went on my first like big hiking trip with the Boy Scouts like the winter after this happened, and up on Mount Cheehaw at the time.
Yeah, Mount Cheehaw.
Yeah, we did a hike up Mount Cheehaw. And I imagine
to
it.
Cheehaw crew.
Shout out to Mount
That's right.
Cheehaw, highest point in Alabama. Can you drive to the top of it? Is there a pool up there? Yes, there is.
Yeah, me and my friends used to go
Does
there.
Mount Whitney have a pool? Fuck you, California.
Me and my friends used to go to Mount Cheehaw and trip on Robitussin.
But we were hiking Mount Cheehaw, and I imagine it's still there. There's no way they hauled it out, but somebody crashed like a 1-engine plane there, and it's just the wreckage is in the woods. So we did a little side hike to go see it, and I vividly remember all of the dads standing around, and they all took their hats off and sang "Country Roads, Take Me Home" because this had just happened.
Damn.
So always going to remember that. October 17th, we've got this classic here.
Fuck.
Gotta get that fuck in there.
Just.
Nimrod by Green Day. is
I'll be honest, my
released.
brain's like, you fucking nailed it in the podcast.
You did.
Wow, yeah, like that was timed perfectly.
Yeah, you knew. You named that note.
I have heard this song a lot.
I remember one time I went to Six Flags and this song was playing on repeat all fucking
And did
day.
you look at the wristbands you bought from Hot Topic and wrap your arms around your girlfriend in her Nightmare Before Christmas sweater?
my 10-year-old girlfriend. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I fucking I still liked it, but
Oh, I love this song still.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
I would argue there is this weird erasure with Green Day where they go from Dookie to American Idiot and pretend that the best years of their career didn't happen.
Oh yeah, like
This album gets so thoroughly ignored. Like Insomniac, this one, and Warning gets super ignored. And like I think all three are better than either American Idiot or Dookie.
they're my favorite. Yeah, Nimrod is
Nimrod
my
is a
favorite.
perfect
nice,
album.
nice guys finish last.
Like
great
they
Dude.
have, like Last Ride In, the surf guitar song, fucking redundant. Scattered is such a fucking great song.
Dude, Hashinka, that song's a great dude. Like the sickest drums.
Prosthetic Head closing out that album.
Prosthetic. That was one of the first songs I learned on guitar.
I learned Hitchin' a Ride. Like that was the first
Hitchin'
song
a
I
Ride
jammed with
is
people
heavy
on.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a great. And the lyrical content about drinking is incredible. Like,
The lyrics on this, they're never better lyrically than on this fucking album.
I agree. It's fucking great. Like this, it totally slept on album.
It's like my favorite of their albums is Warning at this point because it's so weird and experimental, and you have songs like
but they
Misery,
nail the experiments. Yeah,
like and you
Blood,
know
Sex, and Booze. All those. Yeah.
all the way to fucking Wake Up or whatever. Like
Right.
just every song in that is them going crazy, and then they
Right.
never are interesting again after that. But like this album is like to me just like the apex of '90s pop punk fueled it from grunge through. This is as good as it ultimately gets.
Yeah.
from pop pop rock kind of stuff like that.
This is an album that I got at Pass Around Sound, which is the record store / drum store in my hometown.
Oh, that's
they sold
fun.
drum equipment and also CDs.
Oh, that's a drummer who opened a store.
Right? Joey. Shout out to Joey. Joey's not with us anymore. He's on the other side of that veil. But he used to have this giant CD binder. So the CDs themselves were like... The used CDs were like $9-10 or whatever. But he had the giant binder where they were all 3. And I got Nimrod no case out of the binder for $3.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like because of like Billy Joe Armstrong's like heavy like Berkeley meets like trying to do English punk accent, but like the fact that it didn't get a parental advisory sticker for a song like The Grouch on it, where it says "fuck" every 5 like seconds,
and that's the one that's the end of the song. It's just like the terrifying like just rant of swears.
Yeah, the world knows me, so fuck you. Like that's every 5 seconds. But like I remember thinking like this is like a little prize for me that my parents don't know that all this swearing is on this album, and I'm enjoying it.
It's and there's some good fucking lyrics on that record.
Yeah, man.
It's
dude, Uptight. That's it's pretty harrowing suicide song. But yeah, no, it's a great album.
November 7th, the first R-rated film I ever watched in a theater, Starship Troopers.
Motherfucker, we both saw it in a theater.
Is that right? That was my first rated R. Yeah,
wasn't allowed to watch it because of the titties.
My dad read the book and was like, "We're going."
My parents didn't give a fuck about the violence; they were just like titties, and so I couldn't see
Whereas
it.
for me, for a kid, Starship Troopers was the finest entertainment money could buy because it had giant bugs exploding and tits.
Yeah.
It's a great classic film.
And then,
That's great.
I still love it.
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it fucking rules.
Well, it's Paul Verhoeven at his, I think
Paul Verhoeven doing a Heinlein novel and making it this big, huge spectacle.
And it's a hilarious thing where he flips it from being a book about fascism to a movie about fascism.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was going to say is like one of the funniest things about Starship Troopers is going back and reading the reviews at the time. Because there are so many reviews that are like, wait, Doogie Howser's dressed like a Nazi. Why are the good guys the Nazis? And you're like,
it's a satire.
They're not the good guys. It's a satire.
And again, like RoboCop before it, where like
Verhoeven, man.
It is Verhoeven makes movies that where when you're a kid it rules.
Yep.
And then the older you get, it just continues to rule.
It's more and more subversive.
The layers of the idea
idea.
come. Yeah, he's like talking about authoritarianism and shit. Yeah, Verhoeven rules with that shit. He's a great director.
Man, yeah.
I wish he'd go. I hope he gets one more American movie. Like it would be cool to see him get one more.
Well, this movie was like kind of a didn't do as well.
It was a flop.
It was a flop.
It's because this was a movie I followed. It was, yeah. Because so this was one of the earliest movies to not only have heavy CG, but use heavy CG technology to do like when the bugs are all running and there's thousands of them.
Yeah.
This was one of the first times where they used automated computer movements to randomize them running, so you don't have to individually animate. So they would have the front ones individually moving, and then as it went further,
the swarm.
they would automate, which is fucking huge in modern computer animation. And this movie, they had to make it. Like there's all sorts of shit in this movie that is now done commonplace that when they made it, they were making it up. And there's like literally things that they talk about, like the effects guys go like, yeah, what they did at this point could not be replicated that way now with the way technology has gone. Like literally what they did is now impossible. Like it's but because that it cost a fuckload of money.
Yeah.
And people didn't get it. So
right. People didn't get it, but man,
they called it Melrose Space because they didn't understand why they were putting all these young, attractive kids in, because the 90s, despite saying it invented irony, really wasn't so good at irony.
Yeah, they hated it.
They look at a thing like Starship Troopers and go like, I don't understand why you let all those young, attractive kids look like Nazis.
Right.
Did they get killed? Yeah.
Incredible
Don't
movie.
spoil it.
Right, sorry.
Some people
So,
might have not seen it yet.
In my years working at Talking Dead, one of the actors on Talking Dead is one of the actors from Starship Troopers. And that was maybe one of the hardest it was for me to not ask somebody a nerdy question or say something. Because it was one of those, like, don't look at him, don't talk to him.
Casper Van Dien?
I was going to say, it wasn't.
It was the guy who plays Sugar, like the guy who's like the they don't look so good once you're fucking scraping them off your boot.
Oh shit!
And he plays the crazy priest in Walking Dead.
Damn,
and
I figured.
And I always just wanted to go for 5 seconds. You just go, you want some? You want some too? Like,
I figured if it was Jake Chompers Busey, you would have said as much.
First of all, if I had met Jake Busey, you'd all already know about it.
Right.
And at that point, I'd have to remember that because there's so many Jake Busey moments. I was like, you were the fucking terrorist in Contact. You're in the very little scene from Dusk Till Dawn show playing sex sex machine with that dick gun.
November 9th, WWF Survivor Series, the Montreal Screwjob.
Again, a thing I thought happened in like 1981.
Because it did.
For more on that, I'd reference episode
Your whole episode.
149 specifically. We did one about the documentary Hitman Hart Wrestling with Shadows that chronicles that entire thing. But basically, and I would also recommend, if you haven't heard it, NPR, I think Radiolab did a thing called the La Mancha Screwjob that talks about the concept of kayfabe and contrasts what happened at Montreal with Miguel de Cervantes' follow-up to Don Quixote.
Oh, interesting.
It is wildly
That's
fascinating.
fucking cool as shit.
Because Quixote is like basically reflecting on the fact that he was written about in a book. The character is like...
It's like the second Forrest Gump book.
Yeah, exactly. It is literally exactly like the second Forrest Gump book. He's like, this guy, Miguel de Cervantes, got it all wrong. And he's like bitching about the previous
That's
book.
fucking wild.
And so they talk about like kayfabe and blurring the lines of reality and that kind of
Oh
thing.
my
So
God. That's amazing.
check that out and check out our old episode. November 22nd, this is when we finally get the culmination of the year of Will, Big Willie style.
So I guess Nas doesn't
like-
have to cuss in his rap to sell rap.
Well, I do. So fuck him and fuck you too.
Fuck him, Nas, and you. Wow. But yeah, man, again, Will Smith, this was his year. I don't think there's anybody that even
he's
touches the throne.
He's clearly his career's gone in the toilet since then. I'm just
Well, that's
kidding.
what I mean.
He's doing
Apex.
great.
Yeah, we're
He's
talking.
doing great.
This is the high crest of the Big
He
Willie
won
wave.
the 90s. Like, Will Smith won the 90s.
for sure. Yeah,
Or
for sure.
At least this part of it. I don't know.
I mean,
Well, Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince
And, Parents Don't Understand.
Bad Boys. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just, man, we'll never see another celebrity like that. No one
crazy.
will ever be famous the way Will Smith was famous.
Yeah.
And have a successful music career, like a very successful
Go from
music career.
TV, movies, music, just dominate every part of culture.
Juggernaut.
Right.
Every human knows you are a thing.
and having Nas write clean raps for you.
Yeah.
And then people are like, wow, Will Smith can still rap.
It'd be great if he starts trying to do it now, but he has like Earl Sweatshirt writing and stuff.
It's all about Scientology.
But yeah, we have Will Smith ascending in the pop rap game. On the same day this comes out, Coolio punched a lady in Germany after stealing a bunch of clothes.
Good.
So
Cooley had some rough years there.
bad years. Yeah.
Boy, the
Post
last time I saw,
Fantastic Voyage, shit's really starts falling apart.
dude, then post him getting mad at Weird Al.
Yeah.
The next time you see him, he's like shirtless in a mosh
It's
pit at
always
the
a
Gathering of
weird-
the Juggalos.
That fucking Coolio video where he's saying he doesn't like the song. He is like creepily shining a Grammy the whole time.
Yeah.
So he has these like hunched shoulders. And he's just like shitting on Weird Al while like creepily shining his Grammy. It's just such a weird image.
There is
It's all on
kissing it.
crack.
there's a,
Literally.
yeah, was he on crack at the time?
Yeah, I mean, he struggled with it his whole before he ever even blew up. It was a struggle for him.
Oh,
And
he
I
has
see.
a killer couple episodes in The Nanny I enjoyed.
but yeah, they're trying to leave a clothing store in Germany with $2,000 worth of clothing, and then this lady was like, "Hey, can you stop stealing?" And he hit her in the stomach, which I'm like, "Damn, Coolio! Like, not anywhere good to hit anybody, but that one's especially dirty."
That's right.
Yeah, the band's manager said the whole thing was a misunderstanding because the clothing company had promised the band new threads, and they just needed to pick up the clothes at the store. So, I don't know.
Well, that solves all that. That checks out.
Later that same
As I
night,
check out through the alley and
yeah, as I run out through the alley in the back of the store.
I take a look at Lady's stomach and I say no more.
Later that same night, while on stage, Coolio encouraged fans who can't afford to buy his records to steal them, and German authorities
he
considered.
was kind of the System of a Down before System
Yeah,
of
he
a
was
Down.
the Abby Hoffman of rap.
right.
German officials considered charging him for incitement to crime. So, December 5th, Good Will Hunting is released.
I kind of hate this movie.
You do?
Yeah, I
Really?
do.
Who gives a fuck about this movie?
It's 90% of it is that his name is Will Hunting.
Yeah.
When I found out that wasn't a bit, because I remember the Wait for it. MST3K 1997 Oscar special. Anybody at all?
No.
And at one point, Mike Nelson explains the plot to Good Will Hunting and says, like, it's a movie about a guy named Will Hunting. And I thought it was an MST3K hilarious joke.
Oh, okay.
And then we got that Blockbuster Video clamshell. We popped that bad boy in, and his real name is Will Hunting. And even as a 10-year-old, I was like, fuck this movie.
Yeah, I found it boring, but I got a soft spot for Robin Williams, and I thought he
Same.
did a good job in
And
the
it
movie.
You
got-
could have gone and watched What Dreams May Come instead.
Oh god, that movie's
Wet
not
dreams
better.
Wet Dreams May CUMMMMM. I've seen that one.
And it, if nothing else, got Elliott Smith an Oscar nom, so that's cool.
That is good.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, Good Will Hunting, like, I still don't fully understand who it's for, because it's just like, look, our dumb friend is actually smart. You got to leave us and go be smart.
yeah, how do you
like-
like them apples?
It's like, what is so, like, is this for smart people to look at it and go, like, can you believe that some of those people are smart? Or is it for, like, dumb people going, like, hey, one of us could be smart? Like,
I think the idea is
such
like
a nebulous thing it's about.
it's like, hey, bro, never judge a book by its cover. I think like that's the idea. Yeah.
December 11th, the Kyoto Protocols were adopted by the United Nations, and we ended global warming. So that was cool.
Yes.
Oh, good.
It's good that we didn't have to worry about that. They did that.
Yeah, feels like we're not living in it right now either. I had a feeling they'd solved it back in 24 years ago.
December 16th, Computer Warrior Porygon is an episode of the show Pokemon, and
Oh, it's the one that gives everybody seizures.
broadcast in Japan.
Oh.
20 minutes into the episode, Pikachu stops vaccine missiles with his Thunderbolt attack, resulting in an explosion that flashes red and blue lights. At this point, some of the viewers experienced blurred vision, headaches, dizziness, and nausea. Some suffered seizures, blindness, convulsions, and loss of consciousness. Japan's Fire Defense Agency reported that 685 viewers were taken to the hospital.
Yes.
Jesus.
It's fucking wild.
I've never heard of that.
Although many victims recovered during the ambulance trip, more than 150 were eventually fully
So-
admitted to the hospital. 2 were hospitalized for more than 2 weeks. Some had seizures when parts of the scene were rebroadcast during news reports on the seizures.
So by the time Pokemon is here, every fucking parent in like that I knew who brought up Pokemon was afraid that their kids would have seizures.
This is the like NWA effect.
Yes,
Like they
that's
get
exactly
bad
what it
press
is. It
and
got
then
bad press, and so now it's
blew the fuck up because
And
it's
so-
like this show could kill you.
That's why I kind of, I think, was drawn to it to a certain extent. Was like there was a level of danger to Pokemon.
right for like the most innocuous thing.
This is just the first time we all heard about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it hadn't gotten here yet. The incident was referred to as Pokemon Shock by the Japanese press. Shares of Nintendo fell by 3.2%. As a result of this incident, Nintendo ordered the episode pulled from rotation, and it has not aired in any country since. But if you look up Pokemon Shock on Wikipedia, they have the little clip. You can watch it, and I'm like, I could see this. Like, as crazy as this is, you're like, yep. Didn't fuck with me, but like that's pretty like because it is just like a huge explosion and it's like red blue red blue red blue red blue like it's like erratic,
right up there with that Into the Void opening credit.
It's crazy. I'm like I kind of because I'd never seen it until I started researching this episode. I was like, oh, I wonder if I can find it, and I found it. I'm like, okay, yeah, that might do it.
There's things. I mean, like there's your tolerance for it can like be. I could be a little stronger as a kid. I've noticed as I've gotten older, things that have like that erratic like light pattern will start giving me like or like just certain things will give me motion sickness, and like I've never had that problem before.
I think it's an age thing.
Yeah, I think so.
This is
I hope so.
yeah.
I hope I don't have a tumor. Yeah.
It's my perpetual fear because like I've known people who like can't do roller coasters anymore because they get sick and they didn't used to, and I'm always like, dear God, no, I would lose reasons to live.
Yeah.
An article in USA Today reassured parents that American children were unlikely to suffer seizures provoked by cartoons, as U.S. networks at the time rarely aired anime with its quote-unquote fast-paced style of animation. So it's like,
Well, that
our
was,
boring-ass American cartoons aren't going to fuck your kids up
Denver the
like
Last
this.
Dinosaur puts your kids in no danger.
Yeah.
That was that crazy thing. Like I remember because like my brother and I were so fucking down when Toonami came out on Cartoon Network because
Yeah.
we were
That was this year.
My dad kind of liked anime,
Uh-huh.
and so like we had a rough working knowledge that there were. And again, I'm so obsessed with cartoons that it was like there's this illicit secret Japanese animation for
Yeah.
adults that exists, and like. anytime I could find little pieces. Like I remember seeing like Lily Cat, which is just a ripoff of Aliens that's an anime on like the Sci-Fi Channel. Is their like afternoon movie? I was like, cartoons are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they say that this incident, like, not only did it blow up Pokemon here, it
But
actually
it brought anime awareness. Yeah, and
Huge.
and there's that line before and after Pokemon where they just sort of the anime is no longer weird Nick Jr. shows that they dubbed over.
Yeah, yeah. 2 days after that incident, December 18th, in the Hancock Building of Chicago, the darkest day of my 1997, Chris Farley dies of a drug overdose.
I was getting a haircut. I remember when they announced that.
That he was my favorite person of all time at that point.
Yeah.
You know, like we were talking about, I mean, you know, anybody who's like representation doesn't matter, as a chunky child who thought he was
Going,
funny.
wait a minute.
Boy.
I'm fat, but I can be funny.
Right, yeah. You're like, I see a path.
Wait a minute. And then we're sitting in a room full of guys who became comedians.
You know what I mean? This this fucked me up. It really did.
I think
like,
we're looking at 4 people who got fucked up by this.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, yeah. It was,
Tommy Boy, you know, my parents were to LA Confidential when I was a Tommy Boy. I rented that movie 9,000 times. I weirdly never had it on VHS. For
Can I
some
make
reason,
a confession?
I just always.
I've never seen it from beginning to end.
Tommy Boy? Oh, my God,
I've seen
man.
5-minute chunks on the USA Network over the last 20
Oh
years,
my
but
God.
I've never seen it front
It's
to
a
back.
beautiful film. It
I've always
really
heard it
is.
was good. It's one of those ones where I never got to it.
Kyle, I've got the Holy Schnikes DVD editions.
Well,
Let's
it is,
watch that sometime.
It is.
I'm real down.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's his best movie for sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And Black Sheep it's exactly the same film, but it's still pretty good. Like,
Yeah, it's got parts. That,
yeah, it's got Gary Busey.
It's got Gary
fucking
Busey, you know. He says he feels like a horse's patoot at some point.
Comedy gold.
Comedy gold.
Holds up.
I've definitely many times in my life been told that I remind someone of Chris Farley, and I always took it as an insult.
As you should. As you fucking should.
Dude, every
I guess
time
that's the don't have a beard version of Steve Agee and Brian Posehn, the two I get all the time.
oh,
You're
dude.
tall. You got fucked over by being tall.
That's true, yeah.
Because you aren't
I have
like
so
those
much
guys
hair,
at all.
though.
You aren't those. Yeah, you aren't like those guys at all.
I probably once a year get a text from a different person who's like, so when Steve Agee dies, you take over? It's usually when they discover Steve Agee. And I just have gotten real good at the, yeah, man.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it shifted to Jonah Hill as I got into high school.
There you go.
Anytime I'm doing one of those tours, people go, you know who you look like? And I always say, I don't know, but whatever you're going to say is about to hurt.
It's about to hurt my feelings. Now everyone says Ed Sheeran for
I was
me.
gonna
I
say,
get Ed Sheeran all the
You
time.
just do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Which
usually
I
give
get.
me like a Seth Rogen or Zach Galifianakis. I'm like,
I was
no.
at a party in Laurel Canyon, and a drunk lady, because it was a party that like famous people would anonymously kind of go through.
Sure.
And this drunk lady out in the backyard of this place is in my face demanding I admit that I'm Zach Galifianakis.
What?
Just belligerently drunk, pushing me in the chest, going, just say it,
It's
Zach.
like, dude, look at
'Cause
a picture of him next to
I
Robert
looked
Downey.
a-
Robert Downey Jr. He's shorter than Downey, and Downey is
he's
fucking
tiny, but beyond that, I had the exact look from like the Purple Onion, the just
Oh, gotcha.
big ass beard, cool
Yeah.
vintage jackety thing.
Right.
But just like I've never seen one other time at a Warp Tour, and the lady thought my brother and I were the band Under Oath. But just belligerently drunk, going, Zach, just say it. The bit's not funny anymore.
But yeah, one day after Farley dies, December 19th, we get
Oh fuck, because I forget we end 97
Titanic.
with
a movie that was supposed to premiere
In the summer.
It was supposed to premiere on the same day as Men in Black, July 2nd,
and it would have gotten smoked.
It got pushed the fuck back.
as it should have.
Yeah. Because the old Titanic has to exist just so that something can get Men in Black out of the whole world's mind.
yeah.
James Cameron did us all a service.
As time moves on, you know,
I've been meaning to rewatch it recently.
I rewatched it recently.
I have always liked it.
It's
Yeah.
a good movie. I mean, like,
it was very similar to the Spice Girls thing. Like, dudes would not admit that it was
Yeah.
a good movie.
There was action in it.
Right, yeah.
I just like the
part where the guy falls off the boat.
Yeah.
Whatever. You like the whole fucking
He draws
thing.
the girl naked. That's why I watch.
like the titties. It
Whereas now we can get old enough to comfortably say what we really liked about it was Billy Zane.
Of
Oh.
course.
Shout out before we do anything else, to
Uh-oh.
Tom fucking Seiniger.
Yes.
For one of the greatest stand-up bits of all time. His bit about Billy Zane's character in
Yep.
Titanic is the reason Radland Records exists.
You can hear that. We did an episode about Titanic with Robin Higgins, where we all, Pat, this is a while back, me, Pat, and Goodnight all slowly realized, like, wow, we all know a shitload about the Titanic, but we didn't know that each other knew a lot about it.
That's
and as
so
it's going
funny.
along, I'm like, no, but the thing is, like, the captain would have done the blah, blah, blah. Like there was a heroic man aboard the Titanic whose name was Archibald Butt. Things like that. Go listen to that episode. But I played the Tom Seiniger bit at the end of it.
Oh, good.
So that's where
you
can
have
hear it.
audio of it.
I have audio of it. Yeah, you can hear it.
I might need that for the archives.
Okay, yeah,
Because
it's-
that's, I shit you not, when I was talking to Tom and debating doing it, I literally thought about, because it was right around the time Tom was quitting comedy.
Yeah.
And I just thought, because I'd been sad that I'm like, I'm never going to hear that bit of Tom's again. I got to start fucking documenting people's records.
Okay, well, y'all go back and listen to that episode, but I'll also, because it's a good one, but I'll stick it in at the end of this one, right? I guess, yeah, I'll stick it in at the end of this one.
I gotta say, I took in this movie recently as it is meant to be seen, and in a hotel room where
On a
they
phone.
it was on a TV with a DVD tape combination.
Yes.
Watched it on tape.
Whoa.
In a hotel
Was
in
it
Julian,
wild?
California.
I was about to say, in just
Did they just have the tape sitting around?
Dude, that was the whole thing of like, it was like this like little place.
Oh, so
where-
it's like a hipster hotel thing.
not even. It's like a weird old people hotel, which
Ooh,
was
even better.
Which was nice. It was just off season.
I've done those before. We watched Kindergarten Cop that way.
Yeah, and they just had a
Perfect.
bunch of tapes, and like they had like Big Night with Tony Shalhoub.
Yep.
They had
Dances
Titanic
with wolves.
Yeah, shit like that. Exactly. And we watched Titanic, and it was fun.
Well, the thing that I've come to respect so much about this
I
film
feel like
is
those things always have like Black Knight or something too. Like there's always like one
Yeah, there's
comedy where I'm like,
one-
why did you pick this?
Yeah. Yeah.
the thing I've come to respect about this film so much is that this was the most expensive movie ever made
Yes.
at the time, and it also eventually became the highest grossing, so that was totally justified. But leading up to it, motherfuckers constantly doubt James Cameron.
Yes.
And James Cameron,
fools.
those idiots. It's like, what did you think? This man doesn't think about anything else. He is the Michael Jordan
Yeah.
of movie making. And I don't just mean that because he's the most profitable. I mean that because he doesn't think about anything else.
Yeah.
As-
he is a pure psychopath for making fucking films.
he is-
Don't doubt him ever.
Ever.
On Joe Kay's Avatar show, I recently did an impression of James Cameron, and in case
Yeah.
you're wondering, impossible. He
Yeah.
has a, but I researched him a lot. for some
Lilting
reason.
Canadian.
Lilting Canadian old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was it. But like, so I researched him a lot, and yeah, he's like such a psychopath. But it's like his track record is like the
It's impeccable.
Immaculate.
yeah, like the only like smudge on it is Avatar, one of the most successful movies of all
Up
time.
until 2019 was the most successful film of all time until Endgame.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
everything else, like other,
And you know what's wild when you think about that is Endgame required 22 films to become
James
the most
Cameron didn't
James
shit.
Cameron made one fucking movie
I
in
made
3D.
this shit up while I was
and
sitting
people
at the
started
bottom of-
killing themselves because they were no longer watching the film.
I made this shit up sitting at the bottom of the Marianas Trench
Yeah.
in a submarine
And
that I
so,
own.
Like that's what I always look at is like when people are like, fucking Endgame beat Avatar. I'm like, sure, but it did it with the most asterisks of all time.
Yeah.
Endgame will always be LeBron James.
don't get me wrong, huge.
Tweet at Kyle Clark is rad, please.
Don't get me wrong, huge Terminator fan.
I feel like
love
no one
aliens.
who would hear the sentence Avatar is LeBron, or I mean fucking Endgame is LeBron James, that person agrees with that statement.
don't know.
They miss entirely my point.
we got some Ohio people listening. I'm sorry.
Dude, I rewatched Avatar recently.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's bad, dude.
I wish
It's
I'd seen it in
not
theaters.
good.
I regret it now. I was at my most pretentious when it came out, so I refused to see it, and I regret it all the time.
It's bad. Watch it on Disney Plus. It's bad.
Without the 3D, I imagine there is zero reason to watch it.
Correct. Yeah. It's fucking. It's fine, I guess.
I
but,
bet
like,
I'd like it at this point just because like it's just a simple movie.
It's dumb.
I think I would. I need to go back and rewatch it because I watched it in the theater and I hate 3D movies because they give me a fucking headache.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I wear glasses. I
You're
don't.
talking to glasses folk. We're
Right,
never going to
right,
be a fan.
right.
Yeah, never a fan.
But there were definitely elements of it that I liked, but the hype around it I think overshadowed what I think the movie was ultimately about, I think,
Yeah.
which is colonialism.
Yeah.
And it's like a deep critique of like American militarism and
He's
how
always,
we treat
he's
native
often got
native
these
people.
weird like he does put stuff deep in there. They're usually kind of dumb and obvious, but at the same time like a lot of stuff doesn't do that.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't bother to like add one extra layer where you say something, even if you're saying it simple and rudimentary. Like, I think that there's something kind of nice about that instead of just going like, I made flavorless pap.
Right. Well, I need to read.
He's such a craftsman that he knows he has to have his films have something to say just out of like necessity.
I just rewatched Alien, and I feel like Alien is a movie that every time I've watched it since I was 10, I like it a little bit more.
Or Alien or Aliens?
Aliens. Sorry. That's what I mean. Like Aliens. And like, you truly watch that movie and go like, oh, this guy is at this moment the greatest filmmaker working.
Oh, he's amazing.
Like he sort of looks over at Spielberg and goes like, what are you up to? Because you are the only person I'm concerned about on Earth.
Right, yeah.
Like, and it's just wild because it's just he has a language to his shit. Because I watched Terminator 2 as well. Like, I'm just fascinated because like. You're right. Like, you can't. If James Cameron says he's going to make something, go see it.
Yeah,
he's got something fun for you.
He's gonna fuck around and make something. I mean, like,
my thesis is still.
Do we need 5 Avatar movies?
If James Cameron says you do, then you fucking do.
I mean, I'll watch them, but Jesus Christ,
his worst movie is True Lies, and that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, True Lies rules.
I maintain.
rules.
I think
that's what I mean. It's his worst one, and it's great.
I imagine his new movie is just going to be full 3D without glasses in high frame rate. Like that's what it's going to be, right? That has to be what he's been sitting in secret. Is like whatever way Avatar 2 is presented is going to destroy brains.
Dude, I'm going to watch The Abyss after this. I fucking love that movie.
We should probably all wait until he puts out that next Avatar and just figure out how to get all the hallucinogens possible and go.
I'd do it.
I'd do that as a Patreon episode.
Sure.
But yeah,
Kyle and Carter frying balls.
Yeah, Titanic nominated for 14 Academy Awards. It also made Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On" as the second best-selling single by a female artist in history.
Let's talk about "My Heart Will Go On."
Yeah.
There's not pop. It's like the only thing you can trace this to is like 50s pop music.
I gotta say, as forgiving as I've been on all the other songs, fucking hate this
song sucks.
I hate it.
It's categorically a bad song.
I've told this on the show before, but it's one of my favorite memories. My friend Caroline lived in a townhouse in Auburn, and around Christmas, I'm going to say 2010, 2011, her next door neighbor got a flute. And so we were over there hanging out every night because it was Christmas break. There was no school. And we just heard the opening of this song being played over and over. He would and hit a sour note and then start over. And at one point,
we were like Tally playing guitar.
Dude, at one point, we were... Because we could hear it through the walls, which means he 100% heard us. We were just sitting there, and it was like... We were kind of like... It was funny, and then it stopped for a minute, and it was that thing of like it lasted. The silence was just long enough, maybe 5 minutes. When he started up again, the whole room was just guffawing with laughter, and we never heard the flute again.
Right?
He never played it again. As far as I know, Caroline. I remember asking her. I was like, "Is that guy still playing that flute?" She's like, "I think he heard us laughing at him, and he just stopped." So.
My heart will not go on.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what's happening December 19th, Christmas Day, 1997. TNT begins its annual tradition of broadcasting a Christmas story for 24 hours.
That started
97. So they used to show it only 5 times in a row, and then they amped it up to 12.
What a weird first choice to do.
Yeah.
Where do you get that? That's weirder than the 24 hours. TNT was the king of the 24 hours because they would do all the Friday the 13th movies in a row all night for Halloween and shit, and that was the best.
It's just programmers that don't feel like doing anything.
Well, you got to really pick wisely movies you want to give that kind of a stress test.
It's wild that A Christmas Story has such fucking
staying power like that.
Dude, my dad every year to this day fucking will watch at least 3 of the showings.
I'll throw it on.
It's just on in the background at our house on Christmas.
We're more of a Twilight Zone marathon family for Thanksgiving and New Year's. Like that's often the one that I was more chasing. But like I'll fuck with A Christmas Story. It's weird that Bob Clark, 2 of his most successful movies are Christmas movies, and they are very different.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Like what a weird career.
I remember for a while there, FX tried to do the same thing with Jingle All the Way.
Yes,
and I, as I kind of like Jingle All the Way.
We did it. We did a Patreon watch with our listeners last Christmas, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like it's not great, but it's not as bad as I feel like comedy makes it out to be.
Oh yeah, well, and they do my favorite thing, which is the unexplained Austrian accent. Never even attempt to explain why.
That's
from Chicago.
That's the tail end of the comedies where they're like, "Who gives a fuck?"
No one kills. I'm a star. Tell them I'm from Chicago.
I mean, what like. if you couldn't solve it by the early 90s, by the time you get to True Lies where they've just turned it into a bit unto itself.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Also, Christmas Day, Jackie Brown is released.
Whoa.
Fucking most underrated Tarantino. That's no hot take. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quietly, maybe secretly his best.
I mean,
Like, I know that Pulp
It's-
Fiction's pretty good.
It's his only one. It was adapted from an Elmore Leonard story. It's his only one that he didn't that he adapted rather than than wrote himself.
And then Jackie Brown is in, is it Get Shorty?
yeah, I
played
think
by
that-
somebody
yeah,
else?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's right.
it's the-
Because that's also Elmore Leonard.
Because it's the Sailor and Luna, Perdita Durango, and Wild at Heart thing.
one of the first notable, to me anyway, one of the first notable Robert De Niro really underselling as he's playing a mobster.
completely underselling.
That movie broke my brain just for the scene where they all sit around and smoke weed.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I had
yeah.
never sat around and smoked weed before. And so watching grown-ups do this illicit act and that act look fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it looks so fun, yeah.
Sam
Like-
Jackson with the red ponytail.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible. Yeah, that movie, my God. Yeah, that was one of
It told us when you might need an AK-47.
That's the one that I didn't see until probably after Kill Bill. Like I
didn't see that until like
Yeah, I saw
after
it late.
Inglourious Bastards. Like I saw it maybe even later than that. I didn't see it that long.
because I
ago.
got on like I think I started watching Pulp Fiction when I was like 15 or something.
Yeah.
Loved that, and then Kill Bill came out when I was in high school, and it was just like I got into everything. I was watching like Four Rooms and shit like that. But then for some reason, I don't think I watched Jackie Brown till like college. Probably
It wasn't used in a lot of the Tarantino stuff.
Yeah,
that
it's
people
not
have
like
put
in
out.
his
It-
like verse. you know?
It's always been. Is it a different company or is
I
it just
don't think
racist?
so. No, I think it's just like,
I always want to give the benefit of the doubt before the clear answer.
No, I think it's that one.
Yeah, that's probably it.
But yeah, classic. And finally, here we are back at Times Square, December 31st, 1997. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, 97, 98. The lineup, very strange. You thought Weird Al, Kiss, and all that shit was strange. Here's the lineup for the thing. Sean Colvin.
Okay, because Sonny did come home.
Sonny came home.
Weird
which-
person to have on your thing. Your sad pop song about domestic terrorism.
Yeah, well, and right after that, at the next Grammys, we covered this on episode 234, our award show episode. That's the award show where not only did Soy Bomb happen, but also the I'ma Let You Finish, the original one where Old Dirty Bastard got on stage while Sean Colvin was accepting her award and interrupted her because he was too fucked up to be there. So Sean Colvin's there. Casey and the Sunshine Band is there doing Get Down Tonight.
That's the county fair choice they always have.
I was about to say that's like the crawfish boil.
Yeah,
Spice Girls, obviously.
I was wondering because that's how do you not?
They're doing Spice Up Your Life, Wannabe, and their ballad Too Much. And then here's what's weird is that the entirety of the first one was on YouTube. This one I can only find clips. So if anybody can dig up, I love this shit. If anybody can dig up the full 97, 98 New Year's Rockin' Eve, I'd love to see it because there was also on the list, and I couldn't find any clips of him. Usher was there. So I'd love to see like
first era Usher,
15-year-old fucking Usher.
Yeah, shit.
because that's always funny. You forget that Usher has just been with us forever,
Right.
Right.
Like he gets shouted out in My Name Is in 1999. He's in The Faculty in 1998. Like
That's right.
And he started so goddamn young. I mean, he's like what, 7 years older than us?
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
He's
So
like
he-
in his, just now got in his 40s or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
It's crazy. But the other one that I really want to see that there's no evidence as far as I could tell of this. Squirrel Nut Zippers are on this show.
whoa.
Jesus.
I'm like, and I think this was when Andrew Bird was still in the band. so-
America's cousin's favorite band.
That's perfect. I didn't know Andrew Bird was in Squirrel Nut
I did not
Zippers.
either. I had
you
that
not?
line, so I couldn't react earnestly and go,
Yeah.
"Oh shit!"
that's where he came from. Yeah. So that's the lineup. The whole thing was hosted by Daisy Fuentes. Remember
Hell yeah!
her?
Well,
Oh,
she
shit.
was taking over AFV at that
Well,
point.
that's what I was gonna say. It's not. What's crazy is so.
I'm sorry that I just came rattling. these.
No. You're,
Like it's a sickness. Just know that.
well, you fully anticipate what I was going to say because it's also John Fugelsang.
Yep, the other
and
half.
They were the very short-lived hosts. Bob Saget's last America's Funniest Home Videos episode was May 9th, 1997. So they were trying to get over this new talent.
Another show where I find myself especially when I'm running errands around town, the number of times I find that I'm like carrying packages back to my car going like, stories from your friends next door. They never told. You might be starting tonight. Let that camera roll.
Limited information on this one. It seems like it was just kind of a popcorn fart of a New Year's Rockin' Eve.
98's a weird year because it's in between two great years.
Right? You know what I mean?
Like 98's fine, but you go between 97 and 99, which are such fucking atom bomb years for like pop
for
culture.
everything.
Yeah.
Christ. Yeah. The movies alone in 99. Jesus.
It's like 92.
Yeah.
It's like it came
There's
after a good year.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
it's weird how like certain chunks of time, like
Yeah.
Hey man, we'll meet back here for episode 392 and cover that shit.
Well, there we go. You'll talk about 92, sure.
Yeah, man. Well, this was so
we should
much
figure
fun.
out a good like mid 2000. Oh, I guess we did 2005.
We did
so
the
that's
mid
right.
2000s.
That's
Yeah.
right.
2008
What?
is nice and weird.
That would be 2007, 2008. Somewhere in there is an interesting one.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That's like we're talking like Spoon, The Kills, shit like
Shit's
that.
flipping around. It's the last glorious days of indie rock's rule before
Yeah.
like country and electronic music just like stomp it to
Yeah.
death.
And for rap definitively is like, no, this is what people listen
Well,
to.
rap does a wild thing where it, for the first time since like the early 90s, goes, there are two rap musics.
Right.
There
right.
is a big one full of mumbles and synths, and then there's the weirdest shit you've ever heard, and it's like the fucking 60s psychedelia
Yeah, yeah.
in mixtape form.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love doing this shit. We got
This is my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
This is so fun. This one is really
This
fun.
is why, this would just be what I would do as a podcast: is sit across from you and
I was
do
gonna
every
say-
year in American history. But like, we can't do 15 hours a week.
I mean, hey, we could. Yeah,
Well, I mean, you guys did.
It'd be. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, we could do it. Battle tested at this point.
Mutilated lips give a kiss on the wrist of the worm-like tips of tentacles expanding in my mind. I'm fine, accepting only fresh prime. You can get another drop of this, yeah, you wish.
Mutilated lips give a kiss on the wrist of the worm-like tips of tentacles expanding in my mind. I'm fine, accepting only fresh prime. You can get another drop of this.
Kyle, please tell the people
I'll
where they can
promote
find you
things.
online.
I have my main podcast, This Is Rad. If you're familiar with this show, we've probably met.
yeah, I've probably seen you over there a couple
it's,
times.
It's part of the family of
Yeah.
Fuck Your Network.
Yeah. What do we say? The American Butt Association.
the American Blood Association. That's right.
Oh, I might have to get some of the other sister shows to sign off. Our title is now the American Butt Association. The ABA, like the
ABA.
basketball.
Yeah. Here comes the ABA.
But I've got.
Microphone defenders.
This is rad. People come on, talk about things they think are rad. I have a side show called Everything is Scary with Jen Saunderson and Amy Drolet, where we just talk about horror stuff. We did a great episode recently about the video game demo PT. And if you ever want to hear me go full Pepe Sylvia for an hour to two of my very nice friends, go listen to that episode. And then I have my record label, Radland Records, and Mr. Clarter Glasscock has the Crystal Pistol out on there.
Yeah,
That's correct.
And one of these sweet, sweet days we'll have a Rivers Langley record.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
sure
you,
we
you
will.
heard the house fire story at the end of the last episode.
Yeah.
so you're familiar with Radland Records already.
And
That's right.
plenty of folk on there. Jenny Hamilton's Kegel's Champion, a personal favorite of mine.
Shout out to the Klondike.
Dead from Chicago from Tom Goss. Partylicious,
Yes.
Keith Carey. A Journey of Personal Discovery from Solange Castro. It is
Yeah.
fun to have a label where I can just like, I just put out records from people I think are fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a fun thing. On top of that, the last one I'll do, I apologize for being a real fucking student here. At Cal Clark is Rad is where you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm thinking about restarting my Instagram because I learned to draw and like start doing art stuff during
awesome.
COVID. And so I
Nice.
think I might take the shit I did during COVID and just start slowly putting stuff out because there's stuff I like and it'd be fun to go back through.
That's a platform for it for sure.
Yeah, and so we hired a social media guy for Rad because I am cripplingly terrible at social media. Like I have Twitter just to talk to people who listen to the Goods from the Woods and have follow-up questions.
Dude, shout out to Frankie. Fucking killing it over there.
Crushing the fucking game, my sweet, sweet Frank.
Yeah.
And he threw out that idea of like, what if you did something on there and it helped the show? And I was like, fucking fine. And so that might be a thing soon. And then in that same vein, I have during COVID, my COVID baby was a comic book series called Tales from an Analog Future.
Yes, which you gave me the first issue, and it's fucking great.
It is in what we're calling open access right now, or like demo form. You can go and get a digital copy of it for $6 on Gumroad. If you search Tales from an Analog Future on Gumroad, you'll be able to find it. That is sitting there as part of my manic slight emotional breakdown release, where I was like, we're putting it out now. And so it is out there and exists. We are going to do, hopefully by the end of this year, a re-release special edition version of issue 1, and issue 2 will be out. And so watch out for that, and that'll be hard copies and a digital whole plan. The people, if they work on the book with me, are listening to this and they're like, bullshit, because I haven't talked to anybody in a month because I took some time off for my brain.
Hey, we did too.
But I'm incredibly proud of the book, and it only gets better from issue 1. Like it's if you're curious about comic books, go read the first of the 2 stories in issue 1, and you will watch 2 guys figuring out how comic books work page after page.
Yeah.
But we like the first page is the first time either of us have ever worked on a comic book, and 11 pages later we sort of know what we're doing.
It's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, I appreciate you giving me that little.
Thanks, man. Of course, yeah.
copy.
I've got my copies for people. It's the show is I describe it as what if Parks and Recreation took place in Transmetropolitan.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, yeah.
In
so
the 70s.
It's the future, but it's also the 70s.
Yeah.
Because if I can make things the 70s, make them the 70s.
Right? I'm still, one of these days, I need that full-size poster of the flying El Camino flying out of the Waffle House
we'll get
parking
there.
lot.
It's funny, too, because we immediately cheat. Like, one of the characters is a Riot Girl, and in my brain, I'm just like, well, Riot Girl's kind of 70s. I just want to have Bikini Kill in this future.
Perfect.
But yeah, so all of that is out there, because if I stop working, I'll die.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for
thanks for having me. This was these are my favorite thing in the world. I just listed a bunch of shit, all garbage compared to our year breakdowns.
No.
Sam, tell people where they can find you online.
Slam Harder on Twitter
Such
and
a good
other
name.
places. Yeah. Yeah. You know the deal.
Every
LA
time I see
Comedy
your
Life.
handle, I literally say to myself, good handle.
It's a good handle.
It works so well that I could just slip one letter in there and have it seem like something.
And we got a new LA Comedy Life breaking down the James Corden thing.
Yeah, my most popular thing I've ever done
fuck
online.
yeah.
It's got like 31,000 YouTube views.
Jesus.
Take that, you TikTok fuckers. These are YouTube views.
That's the real shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But people think it's real, and they're mad at me in the comments. And they're like, you're an idiot. I can't believe you don't realize it.
They've done it before.
Yeah. Anyways, good talking with you guys.
You always gotta love
yeah,
a
man.
smug dumb person. When they like, this idiot doesn't even know what they're talking about. I'm gonna rock their world by pointing out this incredibly obvious thing they're wrong about.
This video called a James Corden flash mob debunk isn't providing factual information. I can't believe that.
Carter, please tell the people where they can find you.
Push the record, boy.
Yes, sir.
That's the first time I've gotten to do that on something.
You can hear my stand-up album. It's called The Crystal Pistol. It's on Redland Records. They're a nice record label. They treat me well, and they treat everyone well. And I wouldn't look too far into it, honestly.
But Apple, Spotify.
I
I believe it's still on Tidal, if Tidal's still up.
Yeah.
Napster.
Yeah, all the streaming services. RDO. You know, check it out on
Winamp.
iTunes.
Winamp. Still slapping the llama's ass.
Real Player.
That's right, Real Player. Yeah, it's
Morpheus.
Windows Media Player. You can probably put it on there if you want. Yeah, LimeWire. But yeah, no, check it out. Crystal Pistol, Car Glass Arc. It's on Radland Records.
It's funny as shit. I'm a big fan.
Oh, thanks, Kyle. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you putting it out. It's a wonderful record.
It was one of those funny things too, listening to it, because I realized that like you and I are one of those weird comedy relationships where we did not meet at a show or a mic.
Yeah.
Like we met socially.
4th of July party.
At a 4th of July.
That's right.
And so like I knew you socially as like a friend long before I saw you do stand up. So
That's right.
what a fucking relief when you were funny. Because I was in too deep to be able to bail out then. So I was like,
Right.
fucking yay. Okay.
You might have to pretend that I was funny.
Yeah,
just to keep with the social relationship.
And so, but then on top of that, like it was so fun at a certain point to, as I was like cutting your record, go like, oh, I didn't realize Carter does voices. And it's like the main thing.
yeah.
And literally, Carter was like, oh, he's really good at this.
It was a journey of discovery.
I think
the whole
it just
time.
never registered, or like maybe because I met you after you'd recorded that, right?
Right.
So some of it is, I think, like your act has also evolved a little bit and shifted. So, but it was super funny because there were parts of it I was like, oh, that's really funny. I've never heard him do that. He does fun voices.
Yeah.
At this point, I have signed and am in producing the record, and it's a surprise to me.
Man, well, thanks for doing that, man. Really, like it was so fun.
I love that shit. It's great.
Thanks,
it's a fun
man.
record.
Thanks,
Hell yeah.
man.
Check out check out the Crystal Pistol, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rivers Langley, and you can find our show on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoods-pod. We are on Twitter at thegoods-pod, every episode ever, and a shitload of clips that I'm adding to all the time.
Oh, this is exciting. We can do the promo now, too, that if you go to pussydrink.com/goods, you can get 50% off your first case.
God damn, I would.
I'm telling you.
I'd do it every day.
I feel the energy.
But yeah.
Also, if pussydrink.com is available, somebody go ahead and grab that.
YouTube.com/thegoods-pod, and we can announce.
See, I tricked him because there was a real announcement.
There was a real announcement.
Ooh.
October 19th. That is a Tuesday evening in Auburn, Alabama. You can come and see Kyle Clark and me and Keith Carey and Nicole Buchanan and maybe Carter. We'll see.
Is there? I've heard there might be other people popping up on that too.
There's a distinct possibility.
It's, this is this fun tour that is in less than a month, and I'm just like, I have on good faith I'm going on this.
Yeah. So, we're doing a big stand-up comedy show in my hometown.
If you're a fan of any of our cluster of podcasts, if you enjoy Goods, This Is Rad, Mean Boys, like any, I was about to say the other shows that are unconfirmed.
Yeah.
But like, there is no chance that all of these people will ever get to be in Auburn, Alabama at the same time.
I'm telling you,
again.
yeah.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime show. Most of these people have not all been on one show in Los Angeles together.
Yeah. So this thing is going to rock. It's going to be happening at the Coffee Cat, which is a coffee shop that is attached to a bar. So there is drinks. You can get the drinks in the bar, and there's an interior door that leads to the coffee shop where the show is going to be. The coffee shop is where we're going to be, but then you can just walk, get drinks, talk as loud as you want, and then when you're ready for comedy, walk on into the Coffee Cat.
Hell yeah.
And that's where we'll be. So ideal comedy situation.
That's kind of like the 1 a.m. show in Atlanta.
It's exactly that, yeah. And so shout out to Matt Poirier for always hooking me up with that great venue. So we'll hopefully see you there, 144 Titchener Avenue, right next to Auburn City Hall in downtown. That's October 19th.
Deal
Tuesday.
with a parking ticket and then laugh the night away.
That's right. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, and it's Tuesday night, so there should be lots of parking down there. So let's we'll try to fill that thing. But yeah, October 19th, come see us do stand up. And the best way to support this show, head on over to patreon.com/thegoodspod. $5 a month gets you access to over 100 hours of bonus content and growing all the time. I may or may not be covering a wrestling pay-per-view from 1997 before this week is out.
Ooh.
So that'll be coming up soon. Other than that, second best way to support this show, of course, head over to Apple Podcasts, where you will rate, you will review, you will subscribe, show that attitude of gratitude, because if you do not have that attitude of gratitude, daddy, fuck you.
And I mean, there are things I don't like. Like, I've had to see Titanic a bunch. And like, not to talk about a movie that came out 17 years ago, but I have some thoughts, because people, when they talk about Titanic, they get the plot wrong. Because everyone thinks that Cal, played by Billy Zane, is the bad guy, and he really isn't. All he's trying to do throughout the whole movie is prevent Leonardo DiCaprio, who's like a dirty kid who's been hanging out with French prostitutes his whole life, from having sex with his fiancée. All he's doing through the whole movie is just like, why don't you not do that? And everyone's like, oh, what a bad guy, getting in the way of true love. It's not true love. They are just two horny teenagers, which is proven by the fact that when they do have sex, it is in the backseat of a car, even though they are on a boat in the middle of the ocean. But, like, the real bad guy of the movie, when you think about it, is Kate Winslet, because she cheats on her fiancé, like, right away. And, like, lets him draw a naked picture of her, which takes some time. And then and then leaves the naked picture of her that the other guy drew for her fiancé to find. And he finds it at the exact same time that he realizes she has stolen a priceless necklace that he gave her as a gift. So at this point, he has been cheated on, stolen from, humiliated by a teenager, and if that wasn't bad enough, he is also on the Titanic. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it sinks and everyone dies. They, like Jack and Rose, don't die, of course. I mean, he dies because she's like cold and can't hold on to him for a minute. But she lives, thank God, because she's such a fucking treasure. And then that's what the point when the movie cuts to her as an old lady, and she's like, they put me in a refugee camp along with the poor. Cal came to look for me, but I hid so he thought I'd perished. And then she says, after that he got remarried, of course. Like, that's how she says of course. It's like, why do you care? You didn't want him. You didn't want him so bad, you cheated on him and faked your own death, and now you're gonna be all weird and bitchy about him getting remarried? Like, where does this awful bitch get off? And then she continues as this horrible old lady, and she says, like, after the stock market crashed in 29, I heard Cal lost everything and put a gun in his mouth. And I was like, yeah, James Cameron, you can stop now. That's enough. He's been cheated on, humiliated, been through the Titanic, is now in like a loveless remarriage because he thinks his real life is dead. And now he's gonna lose all of his money and kill himself? Like, that's so bad. But then James Cameron, ever the fucking auteur or whatever, takes it one step further and destroys Billy Zane's career in real life. Which might explain how the one time I met him, he was a real asshole to me. We were having brunch at the same place, and I was like, hey, are you Billy Zane? And he was like, yeah, why don't you fuck off, kid? And I was like, I guess that's what I get for interrupting you while you're waiting your tables. Okay. Alright, you guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much. Give it up for Rivers one more time.
The fucking best! Tom Seiniger, everybody. Give another round of applause. God damn it.
The Goods from the Woods was recorded and edited by me, Rivers Langley. You can find our show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by Jonas, the Space Cowboy.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.